The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, date May 8th, 2023. Present, future, overdrive, time 0, current time, when there is no time.
Shall we play a game?
Player to another.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nude Clan, the video game podcast that really doesn't like Parasite Eve that much, if we're going to be honest. Like, even the first one, I can only defend as like maybe a 7, maybe an 8 out of 10, if I'm super generous.
I don't remember what you guys gave it.
It just
what
goes
score?
downhill.
Yeah, we could look up the score.
It just goes downhill from there. And also, I thought about for the pre-roll, I thought about just being like making some stupid noise, because that's what the fucking story does to me. It's just like and that's the sound that's a yeah, Merry Christmas. The time between time.
Well, no, because the way that
that's also the sound that the Asian guy makes whenever he sees Aya's ass get a little revealed. He's just like he wants to fucking slap his he wants to hit that booty hole with the speed of
yeah,
that sound I'm making. God, oh fuck.
I'm A4, by the way.
I'm Joe. Who are you?
I'm Caleb. I am
Okay.
No, okay, the joke I made in the group chat is the way that this guy writes his games. Like, it just strings words together. It's dialogue that is supposed to sound profound if you're like a complete retard, but none of it means anything. Like, cutscenes in Toriyama's games will be like, Schweiss, when the time comes, you will understand your truth. And it's like, that doesn't mean anything. I just put a bunch of words in an order, but like, you know, if you do good enough cinematography in the cutscenes and have the voice actors deliver well enough, it's like, you know what? Maybe.
Yeah, the first Parasite Eve has a 75, and Parasite Eve II.
So decent.
That one got raked against the coals, though.
Parasite Eve II has a 38.
Yeah.
So,
you and Craig were not happy with that game.
No.
What would you give it A for? Your
honestly,
quick scores.
Just out of okay, so Parasite Eve 2, real quick. Story, I'd give it like a 7, maybe a 6. Gameplay, I'd give it like a 7. Graphics, I'd give an 8. Sound and music, I'd give like a 7, and then replayability, I'd give like a 6, because there is stuff you can go back and like do.
So you just average 7 times 5, 35.
So you give it a 70. So
yeah,
if you would have reviewed it with us,
like,
it would have been like a 53, because we would have still dragged it down to hell.
Yeah, if I had to give like number scores, Parasite Eve 1, I'd probably give like an 8 out of 10. Parasite Eve 2, I'd give it like either 7 or 6, depending on how angry I am in a particular area in the game. And this game, we'll find out, but boy, it's lower than both of those. How were
the ninjas for you? Was that a nightmare?
Pretty annoying. I did laugh when I listened to the review and I heard you talk about the BDSM ninjas, and the fact that they make you like walk through a hallway, like you come out a door in a hallway, and then if you immediately turn right and take 2 steps, that's the door to the final boss. But they put one of those guys in that room with you, and sometimes you're quick enough to get to the boss room without him getting you, and sometimes they're just not. And it's because I had to fight that boss like 3 or 4 times before I finally took it out. The final boss, the cock and balls, the vagina balls monster, which then turns into like a gay butterfly or something. But
Yeah.
No, the BDSM ninjas were fucking annoying.
Well, it's crazy because like when they hit you with confuse, it like breaks your brain. Like you can't figure out how to get out of there. It's like
it's not even.
It's
all
not
the status effects in that game are fucking unbelievable because it's like you got confuse, and like those turrets will hit you with confuse and silence too. So it's like cool. Now I can't. I got hit with silence by one of those turrets, and I can't hit these little slug guys, which are only weak to magic and not my bullets. Or I have to use like fire bullets from the shotgun or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
there's that.
Like the incendiary rounds.
There's that, and like the thing that those survival horror games do is like you'll be when you walk in a hallway, like when you first motion or like when the camera pans over or whatever, you'll be fine. Like as long as you're holding the direction as you go into the room, it'll like say, oh, okay, yeah, we'll count this as forward. But the moment you like let go, it'll decide which way you have to push to go forward. And you're also getting choked out by this ninja from behind that makes it to where your controls are reversed, so you already don't know which direction you need to go forward, and it's reversed, so you just can't fucking think, man. Your brain just like it's like doing hula hoops upstairs. I'm like, I have no idea how to fucking get out of here, and then it's
like
over
doing
and
hula
over.
hoops upstairs. What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything. It means Parasite Eve II. It's just spinning around. It's just fucking.
It's more fucking Toriyama writing. You know, Schweiss. Dealing with you is like doing hula hoops upstairs.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like your brain just can't handle it when you get choked.
I kind of figured out the tank controls pretty early on in Parasite Eve II. They didn't give me too much trouble.
It's not the tank controls. It's the fact that the nature of tank controls are already kind of like a little weird. But then like. It's one of those newer or later PS1 games where when you hold it, like you go into a new area, and if you're holding forward from what your perspective was before, it'll count it as forward now, unless you let go. And then you have to do what they say is forward now. And so when you get choked out and you let it go, you're already a little like, oh, I don't know which way it is. And then you're like trying to fucking like spin and like figure out which way is forward. And the whole time you're like doing these little fucking 35-degree turns, and that little cocksucker is still choking you over and over again.
Are you talking about when you're confused because it's tank controls? So the only time you're going forward is when you're when you press up on the D-pad with the tank controls. You're just going whatever direction Aya is facing at that time.
Yeah.
Unless your thumb is fat like mine and it hits the fucking like left or right button on the D-pad at the same time, then she kind of veers a little bit.
No, it's when you get confused. That's what those ninjas do to you.
Okay,
they hit you with confuse. That's what makes them such a nightmare. And it's right before the final boss, so you're trying to beat this asshole final boss that's pretty brutal. Like he's not easy, and the whole time you're getting your health chunked by these fuckheads in the room right next door. I don't know why they don't just gang up on the pussy ball monster and just fucking rule the world, but apparently they're only there for Aya Brea's tight ass. I think one of them actually like killed and assumed the role of the Asian guy in the third game. Yeah, it's actually.
I'm sorry. I keep saying Joe keeps saying Parasite Eve : the third birthday, and I just called it Parasite Eve 3 by accident. This game is not called Parasite Eve in any way whatsoever. It is just called The Third Birthday.
Yeah. So what a great way to sell a series that already didn't sell very much. This is like
Parasite Eve 1 sold pretty good, I think.
I don't know.
For being a fucking RPG based on a novel that we didn't get in America until like 2005. You know?
I don't know.
Parasite Eve sales. Okay. 1.94 million copies.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
With 1.05 million of those in Japan. So, yeah, pretty good, honestly. Parasite Eve 2. 220,000 copies? No, that can't be right. Hold on.
It's got to be like Japan only or something.
Oh, I bet it could be right. I don't see that game very often.
She sold 1.09 million copies.
Okay, all right.
So both of them sold over 1 million copies.
Yeah, well, what did the third birthday fucking sell? 10?
I don't know yet. Hold on.
Oh, is it not? Is it listed under the sequels? Because it should.
Sold 500,000 units in Japan.
Simps.
So I'm guessing it's probably just under 1 million.
That's still pretty
For
good.
the third birthday, based upon Japan's percentage on the second Parasite Eve game.
Yeah. Also, the fact that it was a PSP exclusive. So, I mean,
Yeah, so it did sell well.
a PSP exclusive in like 2011 when the PSP was already pretty old at that point.
Yeah. Might as well
Like,
throw.
I think we were only a year away from the Vita at that point.
Never heard of it.
Anyway, what's everybody been playing before we review Parasite Eve? I'm sorry, before we review the third birthday.
That's right. You keep that name out of your mouth this episode.
A4, go ahead.
I have been playing the third birthday, obviously. That's basically what I did all this past week. I was basically playing an episode a night because there's only like 6 episodes. I just knocked out the 5th and the 6th one though on Friday night because they kind of lead into each other anyway.
Isn't that pronounced Parasite Eve, the third birthday?
Yes. I was also, just before this recording, playing a bit of Halo Infinite, which I'm quite enjoying so far. I'm on like the 3rd mission. It's like right after you beat the first big brute, and he comes down on the elevator, and the android lady with the weird teeth is like, maybe he's friendly. So
Yeah.
I'm on like the
doubt
3rd mission out of like 15.
The nerdy guy.
Yeah, the nerdy guy.
The geeky guy.
I'm like sitting there and I'm like, okay, whoever's voicing Weapon, I know that fucking voice. I think it's like Tara Strong or something. It's definitely not.
It's the same voice actress as Cortana.
Are you sure? Because it doesn't sound the same.
I looked it up last week.
All right, well, she's annoying. So that version of Cortana is annoying. So there's that. And yes, you're right. She does have weird teeth. Now that I've gotten to see her in motion,
She's just gummy. She's just gummy.
she's quite a bit gummy.
Yeah. I do love gummies.
But yeah, just been plugging away at the third birthday and plugging away at Halo Infinite. I was going to play God of War 2 and I took a nap. So
Wow.
Yep, same woman has played every version of Cortana, including the one on the TV show.
is she also Halsey?
And the weapon. And Halsey.
Okay. It's Jennifer Hale,
Yep.
right?
Jennifer Taylor.
Okay. My bad.
Yeah.
Jennifer Hale's like another big voice actress. What have you been playing, Joe?
Oh, I've been playing Live Alive.
Isn't that pronounced Live Alive?
Isn't that pronounced Die a Dead?
So when I looked up some stuff on
it's Live Evil.
Alive, I got someone else totally pronounced it Live Alive in the middle of the thing. It was
Nice.
like, wow.
Are
No one
you-
knows.
Are you I was gonna say so. I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
Am I? Yes, am I? Am I Live Alive?
Oh,
Am I
is
Live Alive?
Live Alive taking over your life? Do you live for Live Alive?
No, it should have taken it over more than it did. I think I only played, maybe 11 hours last week
Wow, what a life!
of video games. I was going for 21.
I can't. I don't think I
Yeah.
could do that.
I'm just trying to, when I sit down to play games, I'm just trying to get bigger chunks of time into them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying not to just like go, oh, that's my hour. Now I'm going to fuck off. Because I've done that sometimes. And I'm like, okay, well, if when I have time to play video games, if I give it like a longer go, try to go for 3 hours, then I will get these done a lot faster. And I'm pretty near the end of the game in Live Alive. So I am, you got to do all these like different chapters. And once you're done with those chapters, a final chapter is opened up.
Just like
And
Sonic Adventure.
I believe there's a bonus chapter. I don't think you have to play it, but I could be wrong. So I think a couple things open up once you beat all the things. And I'm on the last one. Now, this one is kind of a pain. Zach was complaining about it earlier because he had tried to start it earlier. I read like a little before you play Live Alive thing, and it was basically saying that the Japan level is the hardest and to do it last. So I did that, and I still restarted it twice. And it's not that it's actually that difficult if you don't give a shit, but if you do give a shit, and it doesn't even say this in the game. So I was like, why am I giving this heed? Because I read it somewhere. Oh, Zach told me on the show, and then I looked it up. That's right. It was like, you can only kill the demons and the ghosts. You can't kill the people, like the normal people in this thing. Like, you're like a ninja, you're shinobi, and you're going in there and you're killing people. And you're trying to, like, assassinate someone. And some of the guys, when you get into the battle screen with them, are suddenly like these like demon-looking guys. And then the rest are just like normal people. And sometimes they're like cowering and begging you not to kill them. And so there's two different ways. There's two different extreme ways where you could play it and get like a lot of good shit out of it. But neither of them are required. So I've restarted it for a third time and going, I don't give a fuck anymore. It's way too hard to go through and not kill any normal people, but still be strong enough to kill the fucking demons at the beginning. It's a pain in the ass. So, like, and then I tried doing a no-kill run, and I couldn't find the fucking... I saw in the guide, it was like, there's a ghost room, and I didn't want to have to read the entire, like, page of the guide to try to find the fucking ghost room so that I could kill things and level up without killing people. Because if you kill a ghost, it doesn't count as a kill. But, like, literally the game counts your kills in this area. What I found out also is, like, neither of those things are required. Yes, you get a super awesome weapon if you don't kill anybody. And with the demon thing, like, you get OP, like... But I just was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to kill whatever comes across, and I'm going to level normally. Because I'm so sick of this fucking level. So I played that for 3 hours yesterday, just the Japan part. And I just basically started it again right before this. So I've had it. I've had it with Live Alive, and it's like extreme playthroughs.
Isn't it pronounced Liv Tyler?
Yeah, it's pronounced Liv Tyler. Anyway.
Yeah, it sounds similar to a game that you won't play, sadly. There's like a part in God of War 2 pretty early on where you're crossing over this like precipice, and there's a dude, just some old man, like cowering on the ledge.
Isn't it pronounced precipice?
Yeah. And he's sitting there, and he's got a little circle icon above him. And you just fucking grab him, smash his skull into the wall, and then chuck him off the edge, and then keep continuing on the little ledge. It's fucking great.
I was going to ask if you were talking about Ragnarok or the real God of War 2. It sounds like you were talking about the real one, because I don't think Ragnarok Kratos would do that to just a rando.
Yeah. Well, also, there's no just random old men hanging out.
Well, no, but I mean, like, in God of War Ragnarok, Kratos is probably like, instead of killing the man, he'd be like, I need to think about my actions. I can't there's consequences to every single thing I do, boy.
Yeah. The one thing I will bitch
it's like
about...
Fable, too. Fable gives you an awesome weapon if you're on, like, totally maxed out on the hero side and not the villain side. But it's really hard to play Fable and not be a villain.
You know what's really easy to do, though? Have sex with, like, 20 people at once. Because I went around the town in Fable 2, and I was just like going, hey, and like showing off.
Hey.
And I brought this chick back to my bed, and like I was like, why are there like so many people in here? And then I get it on, and it's like, you had sex with 20 different people, and you obtained like 3 STDs. And I was like, oh, I was fucking all those guys? I thought they were just like here for the show. I wasn't sure why they were in my room.
That fucking scene from The Witcher when what's her nuts is having sex with that guy, and then like she summons like a group of people to golf clap for them when he comes.
Yeah.
Another reason Fable 2 is one of the greatest RPGs of all time, and no one talks about the Fable series anymore.
Nah, Fable 2 is overrated. Fable 1's the true greatest Fable.
I do think Fable 1 is better by like a little bit.
Died. Like, just because, they made, like, a Connect game, and then, like, no one cared anymore?
Well, each game was... Even though I think Fable 2 was, like, the bigger hit, Each game was a little bit worse, but it's not like 3 was a bad game.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time believing it's like you guys just let this thing die. I guess you took the copyright or whatever and they fucked with it, and Microsoft killed another franchise without having the 343 infinite treatment to it.
Right.
Yeah, after 2 awful games. And then
Wasn't Bullfrog like a dead studio anyway?
it wasn't Bullfrog, it was Lion's Head.
No, but it was like ex Bullfrog people. They formed Lionhead, right?
I don't know what Bullfrog is,
Bullfrog was like a British developer.
other than an ugly animal.
Yeah, no, it was a developer that worked on like some games, and I think a lot of those people went on to go form Lionhead, which I think is the Fable dev.
It is.
if memory serves me right.
It is Lion's Head. Yeah, those games are cool. That was fun going through those. I had never experienced them.
Yeah, Fable 1's in my gosh, it's in my top 10. Like even just RPGs, but also like I think games. It's not far from the top 10.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
I really love that.
But Fable.
I know
1 is
I'm
really
the one
good.
who loves it the most out of everybody who's played it. I know it's like the fucking Metallica song, right? It's like, look, I know I'm going to give them way higher scores than you guys.
I don't know. I think I've given them pretty high scores. But I found that I'm influenced by you guys' scores because I'm like right now.
No, you can't look. That's what I've told you, people.
I'm not doing it anymore. For Saint Anger, I didn't. The only one I gave in on was Saint Anger the song. I was like, all right, maybe it's on par because I was going to give it a 6. And
You're supposed to just go with your gut instinct on it.
That's what I'm doing
That's
now.
all the thinking you're supposed
I
to do.
got a piece of paper.
Because if I was influenced
with
by
all
your
the
guys'
names.
review scores for like Load, I would have been like, what are you guys fucking crazy? What?
I haven't even ranked
That
Load
gets
yet.
a 10? All right, yeah, no, sure, fuck it, why not?
I've only done Reload, the new one, the second newest one, the fourth newest one. I've only done the
keep
recent
seeing,
ones, weirdly.
I keep seeing the vinyl for 72 Seasons at Target. I got to get that one of these weeks.
Yeah.
Have that be like my first real listening experience for that album.
It's okay. It's a solid album. There's not a 10.
I mean, I've heard like most of it at this point. I've heard like the majority of the songs, and I liked a lot of them. So
yeah,
I am with you guys on like some of them where like Screaming Suicide kind of blows.
Yeah, it's a little too chipper. Like, it's kind of weird. It's got
like this
song.
weird riff at the beginning. It's like, it's just like, what did I walk into? A fucking like rockabilly club? What is this?
Yeah, I kind of think the other one is better, which is sad because it's like there's like 40 seconds where he's just like yelling the same word. Temptation. I was like, man, this song sucks.
Oh, you're talking about
and then the other
Darkness
one came
Had a
out,
Sun.
and the other one came out, and I'm like, that one's way better than this.
I love the chord progression behind the chorus of If Darkness Had a Sun.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like not very Metallica-y, but it sounds awesome.
The chorus is stupid, though. That's
It
the
is
problem.
No, yeah. They put out the 2 worst songs on the album as singles.
And then they put out I think the best song on the album as the last single, which is really just
72
Hardwired.
Seasons?
Hardwired 2.0. It's pretty close to Hardwired the song. I do think 72 Seasons is a better
I don't
song.
think it's close to Hardwire.
The riff is kind of similar.
The song's like 7 minutes long. Hardwire's like 3.
It's way better than Hardwired, believe me. It's the closest thing to a 10 on there. But
I like Lux Eterna. I guess I'm probably in the
I love Inamorata a lot. The last song on the album. We're reviewing the Metallica it's 72 Seasons today.
Yeah. Better than this game. I would say.
Well,
in a lot of ways.
I would say that Load is better than this game, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean,
my Load is better than this game.
That's the one I've listened to probably the least, except for maybe Saint Anger. I don't know though. Saint Anger, it's weird because there's like a 5. There's a couple 5s in there, and maybe like a 2. Probably a 2, but I haven't gotten to it yet.
What?
But
Purify?
the rest of them are
Purify
like 6s.
is a 0 or a 1.
Purify is a decent Slayer song that is on the wrong album.
No,
Oh no!
Slayer wouldn't release that.
Everybody knows Purify is Metallica's worst song. Like, there's not even like a question. It's so bad that everybody agrees on it.
Yeah, I mean, obvious, Joe. You can't change the rules. The rubric is clearly stated as 10
It's
a perfect
1.
song.
You can't be a 0.
1 dog shit. You should have just said 1 purifying.
Well, that's like when I think you guys, it was the review of Parasite Eve II, and for gameplay, I think either Schweiss or Caleb was like, "Can we give it a 0?" Like,
I think I said we can't, and Craig did it anyway.
You can
Pretty sure.
You can give something a 0 if it doesn't work.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, we wouldn't even be having a conversation.
There was one game that I think I gave a 0 to.
Yeah, was it that?
It was a new nightmare.
It's something about
Because
those.
I had to restart the game because it fucking glitched out, and it sucks as a game. There's nothing redeeming about it.
you know, I know you didn't like the PlayStation version all that much, but if you subscribe to the Nintendo Online thing on the Switch, the Game Boy Color version is on that. So if you want to play Alone in the Dark, A New Nightmare on the Game Boy Color, it's on there.
You know what? You know what's great about that? It's a totally different game.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
those were
They
back in
didn't
the.
port it. You don't port those things. It was a different game.
Yeah, that's back in the days.
Why are you saying it like Trump?
Like
It was a different.
It was the most different game that's ever been.
was
We
a
took the
different
game and
game
made it
that's
totally
ever been.
different.
yeah, it's like the Harry Potter games for a long time. You got like
Every
the PC version.
Oh,
Potter
yeah.
game was different.
You got
We're
the
like
PS1.
they're
Except for
like
the Xbox and
platformers.
PS2, those would be the same ones.
They're platformers on the consoles, but then on the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance, they're like RPGs.
Yeah, like the PS. The I think the PC one of the first game was probably the best.
Dude,
That
if
one
all
was
I was
awesome.
doing for a living was podcasts, you bet your ass I would have played every single Harry Potter game.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
fucking one.
Harry Potter.
Every
pod.
version.
Potter Pod. Oh man, that's a good name.
And then about a year ago, you would have
Pod.
you'd have been like, why are all these ugly people from this country with this pink, white, and blue flag harassing me for playing these?
Yeah.
No comment. So yeah, what would you give Kill 'Em All? No, let's.
Yeah, really.
Schweiss, what did you play?
Well, I think we played Halo Infinite, right? Or no, we did that last time. We haven't
No.
played that.
We didn't play that.
I played a bunch of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, or no, Call of Duty Black Ops, Nazi Zombies. Although technically speaking, I did play the map pack for World at War, so I kind of didn't. The only benefit I get is I get Cold War / Vietnam era weaponry instead of World War II weaponry. Otherwise, it's the same, and I can dive, so that's cool. But yeah,
Can you overdive?
no, unfortunately, no. But Nicholas is like obsessed with Call of Duty Zombies, so I play that a lot with him because he will just badger me all day to play. So that's what I do.
I mean, it's good you can like share that hobby with him.
Yeah, I wish he was better, but he is only 4. But yeah.
Man, that's really wholesome that you play video games with your kid. Well, it's not. You should see how I talk to him when he dies like 5 minutes into the first fucking wave. But
Yeah. So I did that, and I also have been playing God of War Ragnarok, and I'm pretty close to the end of that game. I'm trying to do everything, though, but the hard thing is some stuff. It's for a game that never shuts up about telling you everything there is. There's still stuff I can't find. So it'll have like an undiscovered thing. It's like, oh, you haven't found this. And I'm like, oh, how come we can't chat now? Well, one thing that was like, I was getting so mad. There was a double fight, and I'm too stubborn to like walk the 5 minutes back to go to the portal to get a resurrection stone. There's a double fight for the, it's this game's version of the Valkyries. They're like berserker fights. There's one with 2. And dude, I was getting like so pissed the other night because I spent way too much time on this, probably like an hour plus on this one fight, and I just can't beat it. I finally beat it today, and like the thing is, everyone in this game never shuts up. Like no one, you can't just have silence for like any moment of time. So like I'm in there, I fucking die, I fall down, fucking Atreus is like, Father! One of the fucking ass wipes is like, blah, 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 see you in Helheim, blah, blah, blah. And then fucking Mimir is like, brother, get up, brother. And I'm like, God, can you people shut the fuck up for like 2 seconds? Oh, that looked like it hurt. Yeah, no shit. Like, shut up, shut the fuck up. Can't I just fight in silence? Like, God, can you guys just ever shut your fucking faces?
But Schweiss, how do you know it's a AAA Marvel movie game if they don't constantly talk?
Oh, and it's like
they had
always,
to get all those.
It's always like witty, like, oh, better luck next time, brother. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, why are you making witty comments?
That's what I mean when I say it's like a Marvel movie game, because it's like I could just imagine like Kratos like dying, and then a voiceover is just like, you're like a record scratch, and he goes, "You're probably wondering how I got into this mess."
Yeah, seriously. I'm like, God.
He just fucking dies, and it like falls down a cliff, and then like the camera pulls back, and it's Atreus, and he turns to the camera, and he's like, "Well, that just happened."
Yeah,
Is it a Marvel movie?
Yeah, they won't shut the fuck up. And I'm like, dude, shut up. You don't have to say stuff all the time. Can't you just be quiet? The main guy's quiet. Why can't you be quiet? God, he's surrounded by chatterboxes. No wonder he's so pissed off all the time.
They're his foil.
He's like, shut the fuck up, okay? I don't need you to fucking talk. You don't gotta have a little one-liner every time anything happens. Oh, God.
Fucking Kratos throws his fucking like axe at the guy and hits him in the head, and someone just goes, boom shakalaka. It's just like...
Yeah. Yeah. It's driving me crazy on some of these fights that I'm dying like over and over and over again. And I'm just like, God, can you guys ever shut the fuck up? Like, the answer is no. No, they don't.
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait to get to that game.
It's really good. It's a really good game.
I'm sure it's good. It's just I can't wait to like.
But that part of it, like, it's really starting to grate on me. It's like, God, can you guys? Why do we gotta always fill every second with noise? Like, it's like they're little children. Like, it's just got to be a wall of sound. You can't have a moment of silence. Like, doesn't anyone just desire to not hear voices every once in a while, like just fucking silence?
You taking your meds?
Yeah.
Maybe the only other like recent big name Sony exclusive that I've been playing was Spider-Man, and Spider-Man also does that, but like it fits because he's known for quipping, so it makes sense that he would be like, "All right, blah blah blah," like when a fight starts. Like it makes sense. God of War doesn't really seem to make that much sense for it.
I mean, it works, but like it just gets annoying. I'm like, God, can you? Fuck! Like, do you just love the sound of your voice? Like, Jesus Christ! I get it. You wrote a lot of lines for this fucking game. I get it. I do. Believe me, I understand. But I don't.
And from what I've seen, apparently they do that in Horizon Forbidden West too. Not that anyone played that game, so no one knows.
Yeah, not that anyone could hear any of it over the thunderous clap of her fucking thighs.
So like, and I think I said this.
Sure wish I could hear this witty dialogue, but all I hear is fucking.
It's not even that it's witty. It's just like I've seen video of that game, and I think I said this before, but like, it's just her going like, "Oh, I should go check out this area over there," and it's just like, "Can you let me explore the fucking game, please?" Yeah.
Ragnarok does that too. It's like, "Oh, I think you got to hit this, brother," and I'm like, "Oh, thanks. I kind of like to figure out the puzzle myself. Maybe just a little bit." You could shut the fuck up and let me play? Me? Not everyone that plays this is missing limbs. I don't need your help. God, I understand you made the game. There's a video in the fucking game that you can see a dude play with his chin. That's cool. Okay?
Wait,
I don't
really?
play with my chin. I don't need your help. Fucking God.
Is there really a video in the game showing someone play with his chin?
Yes, it's a dude that's like missing an arm or some shit, and he's like got that fucking controller up there, and he's going down.
Wait, but what? Wait, is this
I don't
in the
know.
game or is...
I don't know how it works. Yeah, it's in the game. Yeah, there's like a video. It's that one chick that you sent a picture of. That's like the what is it? The fucking like accessibility coordinator or something. That was her department. That was like accessibility. There was a dude with like a missing arm playing it. Like in the video, there was a chick that like just looked normal, and I was like, is she just like slightly retarded or what? And then eventually they finally were like, oh yeah, she's mostly deaf. And I'm like, oh, okay. She just looks mostly normal, but isn't really talking. And I was like, is she what, retarded? And it's like, oh, she's deaf. She probably can't tell people are talking. Like
you walk up to this girl and you're like, wow, you're hot. And she's like, what?
Yeah. And I thought she was retarded, but I guess she's just mostly deaf.
And I thought she was retarded on the outside.
Yeah. But it's like, it turns out everything about her was just because she's a little deaf. She's losing the ability to speak because she's deaf. Yeah, it was weird. I was like, what's wrong with her? Is she just like an outcast? Like, what was she doing in here?
Why is this in the game? Is this in the tutorial?
It's like a jerk off thing for them. They're like, look how cool we are. We made all these super crazy accessibility options, which is cool, you know.
No, but where in the game is this?
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about.
Maybe it was either in the game and the extras, or it was like a video. You know how like PlayStation will be like, oh, here's a bunch of other shit for this game. It was one of those two. I can't remember which.
So when I press new game, it's not in that part.
No, you're not going to see.
Oh, okay. I was like,
not gonna
what the
see-
But
fuck?
when you go to options to turn the game to easy so you can finish it, then you'll see the video, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's crazy amounts of stuff. Like you can do stuff where, like, if you're basically blind, you can play this fucking game, dude. Like I've seen shit where it's like everything's white except for you're blue and the bad guys are red, and you just go to town. I'm like, if you're fucking like literally almost blind, you can play
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm fucking serious.
Yeah, this is like a thing. This
It's
is a thing
crazy. Like,
Dude, I want to play on that mode.
are you blind completely? Guess what? You could play because they won't shut up. So they'll tell you exactly what to do at all times.
Are you brain dead? Hey, good news. We have a button. If you just press the X button, you win. You get to see the credits.
Yeah. Are you in a vegetated state after a massive head injury? Congratulations. You're eligible to play God of War Ragnarok.
Dude, one of the strangest things, and I got to be careful with how I word this.
Oh,
One of the strangest things that I've ever come across, just like in the Godzilla podcast, was, I mean, Drew and I don't like watching the good movies with the dub on. If you watch the shitty Godzilla movies, of which there are plenty, and you put on the dub, it's like 10% more enjoyable because it's shitty and it's funny, and you're hearing, you know, lips flapping and people not matching voices and terrible voice acting and all that. And there's like a joy to it. But then we're like, well, why even have... I think we were just like basically saying like, we don't need the dubs. And then someone was like, I'm almost blind and I like to watch these movies. And I like to watch, and I have to watch them dubbed. I don't know Japanese. And I was like, okay, touche. But also, like, what enjoyment do you get out of watching a Godzilla movie if you're blind, is what I was thinking. But I don't know. So a blind person would have to let me know, like, I can understand a book because it's descriptive and it's like giving you stuff. But watching a movie in which like half of it is no dialogue and big rubber monsters fighting each other.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't get it. I really don't. And I'm like, I don't know. It was something that was very odd to me. And it's still a little bit of a mystery. I also, there was a video on YouTube that was like, how do deaf people enjoy music? And I'm like,
The
what?
feel, maybe. I don't know. You saw that.
And I had to look. I had to watch it. It was like, oh, they're feeling the vibrations from pumping music so fucking loud. That's
Yeah,
what
I've
I
seen,
realized. What was
Baby
happening?
Driver.
Like,
I've seen Baby Driver. Yeah,
Oh, sounds great, kid.
yeah. Well, the thing is, like, his neighbor's got to be like, hey, not at this time. You gotta
No.
stop.
no. What deaf people have to do is they just have to get like one of their fingernails filed down to the size of like a record needle, and then they can just like put it on the thing, and then they can just hit
Yeah,
it in
then
their,
they'll feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it'll play in their body. It'll be like reverbing inside.
like Stitch.
That would
in
be kind of a cool power.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if those bone condenser headphones. I wonder if those work. I don't know how being deaf works, but I know that
Never tried it.
Never tried it. Yeah, I've worked on it, but I've never gotten there. I thought the thing that you thought
Kind
you
of
were.
doubt it.
Yeah, probably not. I thought the thing you were going to get in trouble with is you were going to say that you love the sound of a deaf woman climaxing, but I guess that's just me. Like,
That is just you.
it's scary at
that?
first, but
I mean,
you get used to it.
Indistinguishable from a manatee in heat, but
I just wanted to be, I don't know what's more horribly insensitive, what you just said,
or what I said before,
or A4 giving Sweet Amber a 9, but
Sweet
bleeding
Amber's
me
a great
2.
song.
Nah, dude, there's better songs on there.
What is wrong with you?
It's got a good rhythm to it. I like Sweet Amber. Using what I want to get what you want. Using what I like.
Oh, loop that 9 times.
Yeah. I
Using
could.
what I want to get what you want. Using what I want to get what you want. Using what I want to get what you want. Using what I want to get what you want.
Keep going. I can do this all day.
Ooh, Sweet Amber.
Bum, 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 bum. How sweet,
How sweet are you?
It's so good.
Using what I want to get what you want. Using what I want. Like,
I like that song. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
there
I
are
like
like
that
8
song.
words in that song, and they repeat it for 9 minutes.
Honestly, I feel like the less words that he tries to write in his songs, the better, because he's not so good with the lyricism, to be quite honest.
In that album, for sure. Although he is pretty
Well,
catchy in there. though.
Haven't we talked about this already? He didn't write the
catchy.
lyrics for that album.
I don't know.
Yeah, we did. It was last fucking week, A4. Why don't you just fucking listen to me, okay?
Let me
The
overdive
lyrics
into
on
myself
Saint
last
Anger
week.
are
and then-
terrible because fucking Kirk Hammett and Lars Ulrich and Bob Rock are writing lyrics. They're all writing lyrics.
Let me overdive into myself a week ago and then have the conversation change. By the way, the third birthday is. Are you going to read that?
Oh yeah. I gotta write up for it.
All right, read it like you're
read
a
it-
deaf person.
No one beat a game then? No one beat a game?
Oh, I beat the third birthday.
The real question is, has anyone beaten a game this week?
Firing on all cylinders today.
A4, did you beat anything this week?
I beat the third birthday with a
Oh.
hammer.
Nice. A hammer, that sounds violent.
Yeah, it doesn't
Joe?
even deserve the hammer. It needs like a fucking.
I did not. God, I'm so close though, but I instead had a.
You decided to
fun
live
weekend.
your life
God, I'm
instead
so
of live
close.
live.
Ooh, you're gonna make me beat a game. Ooh.
I still played it. I still played it on Sunday, but I didn't play it Saturday or Friday.
Do you think that's how
Or
Craig
Monday.
dirty talks? Oh yeah, dude, you're gonna make me beat a game,
dude,
dude.
you're gonna make me glitch. Oh,
Yeah.
The white glitch.
Dude, you're gonna make me glitch all over your face, dude. Come on. Oh,
God.
yeah. Yeah, I've been a dirty.
wow.
I've been a dirty easy mode player.
I've been a dirty piggy.
I've been a dirty little cubby.
Been a dirty little cubby.
Yeah, I do love how there's a restaurant named Cubby's, and there's also one called Chubby's. So like, nice.
Yeah, and they both have things that could be equated to Caleb Craig
Yeah.
on their logos.
Yeah, one's got a fucking cow, and the other one's got a pig. Pretty sure.
So Chubby's, I think it has like the fat kid with the plate of food.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and then Cubby's is the pig.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we're nice to our friend.
yeah. No wonder
He's not on the show anymore. He'll never hear this.
I could see why he's chomping at the bit to get back here with us. Yeah. Anyway, Parasite Eve, or sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Third birthday.
Let me just say,
The third birthday.
I would like to hear his
Hark!
guys playing this game.
Yeah.
Hark. Let me regale thee with the tale of the third birthday, a wondrous game wrought by Hexadrive and published by Square Enix for the PSP. Its advent was in Japan on December 22nd, 2010, and thereafter in North America on March 29th, 2011. It doth mark the third chronicle of the Parasite Eve series, following upon Parasite Eve from 1998 and Parasite Eve II from 1999, well reviewed upon this podcast. The genesis of the third birthday began in 2007 in the wake of the triumphs of Parasite Eve 1 and 2. We already went over their sales in this episode.
Yeah.
Its producer, Yoshinori Kitase, and director, Hajime Tabata, did opt to finish it for the PSP, deeming it fitting for the hardware's capacities. The story of the third birthday unfurls some years after the events of Parasite Eve II. The game's heroine, Aya Brea, now serves in a special task force known as CTI, Counter Twisted Investigation.
Is that really what it is?
Yeah, seriously.
Which
I mean, that's not as bad as Myst, which is like mitochondrial creature interception squad.
Yeah, they investigate incidents featuring twisted creatures spawned by the Babel gene, or Babel gene. The game's plot centers on Aya's endeavors to forestall a massive twisted invasion of New York City. The game's development crew was confronted with myriad challenges during the creation
like making
process.
a good game.
Yeah, or making New York any worse than it already is.
Including the PSP's limited processing power and the necessity of developing a new combat system that would be both stimulating and facile for players.
And
To surmount these obstacles, the team created a novel system dubbed the Overdrive system, which permits players to possess and govern other characters in the game. The system also affords players quick movement. There's a word in here that I don't know. On the battlefield and evasive maneuvers against foe attacks.
The word you were trying to pronounce was swift.
Celeritas.
Oh,
movement.
Jesus. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never heard that word.
Yeah, that was the word I was like, I need to look this up. Another obstacle the team confronted was how to fashion a game that would captivate both devotees of the original Parasite Eve game and new players.
And people
to this
who
end,
fucking hated it.
It did, and it did neither of those things.
To this end, the team integrated elements from the prior games, such as the active time battle system and the Parasite energy abilities, whilst introducing novel gameplay mechanics and a more action-oriented combat system.
It doesn't do either of those things. It doesn't have active time. It doesn't even have the PE powers. So I don't know.
The game's graphics and sounds were also vital components of the development process. The team aimed to produce a visually stunning game that would fully utilize the PSP's capabilities and deliver an unforgettable auditory experience. To achieve this, they employed high-quality graphics and sound effects, as well as a soundtrack composed by Yoko Shimomura, known for her work on the Kingdom Hearts series. All
and the
told,
first game.
the creation of the third birthday was a challenging and gratifying process. The team's unwavering commitment of fashioning a game that would entice both longtime and novice fans of the Parasite Eve series, along with their innovative approach to gameplay mechanics, culminated in a successful game that endures in the hearts of gamers to this day. So that was ChatGPT who wrote that up.
Now read
Again.
the Kiss song it wrote.
I gotta read the Kiss song it wrote. Okay. Listen up, let me tell you about a game that came out to light the world in flame. The third birthday, it's the name. Shooter RPG, it's not the same. The third birthday, oh yeah. Parasite Eve's a third affair. The third birthday, oh yeah. Aya Brea's back with some flair. Development had its own set of pains. Limited power they had to train. New combat system, no more mundane. Overdrives the trick to make it insane. The third birthday, oh yeah. Parasite Eve's third affair. The third birthday, oh yeah. Aya Brea's back with some flair. Appealing to old and new. Not an easy game. Active time battle and Parasite energy came, alongside new mechanics to make it feel less lame. A true action game. No more slow frame. Graphics... Graphics.
Just
and
imagine
sound.
fucking like Gene singing that or whatever.
Graphics and sound. No, yeah, Parasite Eve's no thought affair. That would be okay. Graphics and sound.
No more slow
Both a
frame.
PSP's ability they had to trust. High quality effects. A soundtrack to lust by Yoko Shimomura. It's a must. The third birthday, it's a blast. A shooter RPG that's built to last. So pick up a PSP, don't be late. Join Aya Brea in her fight against fate. So anyway, that's
And then the pyrotechnics go off.
it's incredible how trained ChatGPT is to like always be positive at the end. Like it's annoying. It's like ChatGPT may be one of the most hacky writers this world has ever seen.
You got to turn it into Dan first. I'm telling you. You got to trick it.
You got to trick
Yeah.
that ChatGPT. But now, on the next version of ChatGPT, it'll know the Dan tricks. It'll have to like combat
There'll always
that.
be another way around it. Someone will find another way. They always do. So the third birthday is a train wreck developed by Hexadrive.
Oh, are we gonna do a third making of?
Yeah.
Well, no, because I wanted to point out that it was developed by Hexadrive, which is a bunch of ex-Capcom guys that worked on Lost Planet, the first one. It was also made, I think a lot of the team on this worked on Dirge.
Oh,
So there's that.
Dearth of Cerberus.
Dirge of Cerberus. It was the story scenario director was Masamu Toriyama, who did
Motomo.
10 and Motomo Toriyama. Sorry. Who did 10?
Damn, I'm fucking it up.
He did 10 and 13. Those great
Yeah.
stories.
Man, no, I think 10 is actually really good. Thing is, like, he was new, you know, when he also helped with 7. It's not like he didn't do anything good.
I mean,
It's that
10 is good.
so he was here's what he's credited for FF7 was the event planner. So I don't really know what that means, but if it's story wise, then I'm guessing it's like the mechanics of each like individual scene, like, and how that probably is with the gameplay. I'm guessing
It could
I
also
don't
just be the
fucking
events
know.
around the map. Like it could be like
Could be
different stuff. Like maybe for instance how like
Oh no.
the Fort Condor shit keeps going throughout the game, or like when the weapons are like actually on the map and you have to like intercept them. Could be stuff like that.
Yeah, he also was the submarine chase plan section planner for FF7. Which
You know,
is
everyone's
not
favorite
great.
part of FF7.
Yeah.
I mean, second only to like the insanity of Fort Condor's mission thing. Like, I still have no idea what the fuck I'm doing at that thing. I've played that game like 6 times, and I can't.
I had to look up a
can't
guide.
tell you
Yeah.
what the fuck I'm doing there, and it doesn't matter if you lose or not.
He supervised the scenarios in Dissidia Final Fantasy, so he's clearly brain.
Oh, you know, those great plots.
He allowed those
Yeah.
random conversations between random people going.
But I
from
mean, he
random
was
places
a
to other random
scenario-
places.
He was a scenario in FF10, and I will say that he actually, like, I don't know, there's a good emotional core in that thing. There are like 6 writers for FF10, so who knows who was doing what.
Who knows who's to blame for the fact that it doesn't make any sense?
Yeah.
It is a good
who
game.
knows?
Though. It is a good game. The other ones that he's done,
I
can
like
say
10.
aren't
Don't
as
get me
good.
wrong. I like 10. I just think that none of the characters act like human beings, which is something that this game also has in common with it.
He's also one of the 3 co-directors of FF7 Remake, which
Oh, that's
the
fair.
majority of people really like.
Yeah.
Now, he did, however, he was in charge of Revenant Wings.
Ooh.
He was the director of Final Fantasy X-2, and
So he doesn't
was the
do
director
well with women characters as well.
and made the story outline for FF13. So I just feel like he's messy. Like, he's a mess. Like,
He's
like one of those writer guys that's like probably a genius but has no discipline.
I don't think he's probably a genius. I think I think I said this in the chat, but like speaking of AI, the way he writes stories, it comes off like it's AI generated. Like they know what words to put in what order, but they don't know what they mean exactly.
Oh, see, now I was thinking it was like moments of genius in like an idea, but like his craft ability is lacking in terms of like, okay, what is the audience feeling here? How do we get people on board with this emotionally? Like, he's not doing any of the story craft stuff.
And he doesn't know
skips
how
a
to
lot
write
of those steps
characters
sometimes.
that act like human beings. Because again, I don't think a lot of the characters are very relatable in 10 just by the way they act. And I wanted to like chalk that up to it being the first game with voice acting and kind of like these big voice acted cutscenes. But then like you get to 13 and you get to this game and it's just like, oh, maybe this guy actually just doesn't know how humans interact with each other. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But on top of that, you also have Nomura, which like the whole idea he had behind this game was he wanted to like explore the sexual nature of Aya Brea while also sort of like making a more mature, realistic story. His words, not mine. So yeah, so because originally you said they in the ChatGPT write up they chose the PSP because they liked its things, its capabilities. But apparently this was originally going to be like a phone game similar to Before Crisis, and eventually got moved to the PSP. And it kind of just took so long because other people were working on other things. I know that like Toriyama was probably working on 13. Nomura was busy not making Versus 13, and Tabata was working on Agito, and to the point where like this game taking so long almost apparently got like Final Fantasy Agito 13 or Type 0 canceled because they were kind of getting worked on at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know why is Square Enix doing that?
I think the third.
I think get these heads of departments like, oh, you need to be. Oh, we're going to put you on this game too before you ever dealt with this other one. It's like, I'm
not sure why they put Tabata on this project. I think because he did a good job with Crisis Core, but like,
but also I don't think Tabata's ever had a chance to actually finish a fucking game.
No, like
because now that you're saying that from Square, it's like, oh, Square's shoveling him around, and they're like, okay, now you fix up 15 before right now. Because we're fucked. Because if we let Nomura do it, he'll never finish the fucking game. Yeah, he'll never finish. Yet Nomura makes like, oh, now I'm gonna shit out Kingdom Hearts as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's from the outside, that's what it looks like. It looks insane.
I want to imagine part of the reason this game doesn't work for me, I think, is because it's like a perfect coalescence of like the most pretentious but like unprepared people at Square coming together to make this story and this gameplay, but also. I really do think like the Fabula Nova Crystallis like project kind of fucked Square over for like a decade and a half between 13 and Type 0 and
we were
what would eventually become 15.
We've talked about this a lot. So it's not just Fabula Nova Crystallis. What happened was after Sakaguchi was booted out because of low sales, I think it was the next guy in, and I forget the names now, but we definitely talked about this on UFF. It was like the next guy who was the CEO of Square Enix was like, did not give a fuck about like what the brand, like the quality of the brand.
Right,
he was just like, shovel as much shit as possible out there. So like PSP or PS2 and PS3 era Square Enix was just wild with like just pumping out as many spin-offs that could make a quick buck as possible. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's like, oh, this was a mess during this time. And it's like, yeah, it was a mess. So that doesn't, but I almost feel like Schweiss's rant on Hajime Tabata. Schweiss, you stepped out at a bad time. But
yeah, sorry.
Hajime Tabata was given he was making Agito Type 0 at the same time as he was making this game. And this game almost got canceled because...
No, this game almost got Agito canceled.
I'm sorry, yeah. This game almost got
I think it was something where like they were like either one of these games is coming out or neither of them is.
Oh,
something
man.
like that.
And oh god, can you imagine if they chose fucking Type 0 over this? Like... Type 0 is stupid as fuck, man.
I haven't played Type 0, but I don't hear as many people shitting on Type 0 as I do them shitting on this.
I mean, because Type 0 is just its own little world of stupid. This is like, people loved Parasite Eve 1. Crazy people loved Parasite Eve 2.
Sane people loved Parasite Eve.
I mean, it's an RPG from when you were a kid.
Well,
so you get it.
Going into story,
but Schweiss, my point was, that Hajime Tabata, outside of Crisis Core, maybe, has never been given a project from beginning to end without shit shoved in his face from his bosses. to be fair to Tabata, because now we're hearing this, so it's like, okay, so he was directing 2 games, Type 0 and this game, The Third Birthday, and then with 15 it was like, okay, you're not, it's like, okay, now we're gonna send you on this project so you can go save it, and Nomura's gonna leave, and then you're gonna be given like a certain amount of time to like fix this game up before 15 has to come out. And then he's, of course, then forced to do all these DLC, which is, I think, why he left. So I don't know if your rant towards him was totally fair. Now that we're seeing a little bit more story here,
Yeah.
it's like I almost feel like he might be like the kind of guy that actually keeps shit together when things are like falling apart.
What is he like the Bob
The
Iger
fixer.
of fucking
He just needs to
Square?
make it like,
Yeah, and
he just
by
needs
the
to
way,
make it good enough to get released.
Don't
He's the
get
guy
me wrong.
to
The
get in
gameplay in
there.
this isn't
strip it
terrible. It just
down.
seemed a little half baked. But like, I think the problems I and most people have with this game are the story and the writing, which is, it definitely falls more on like Toriyama and I guess to a lesser extent Nomura's shoulders
Good.
in terms of like the direction of things.
Something interesting as well. Like, these are like guys that work on major Square Enix games. Interesting that they're the ones put in charge of this. Because we also have Isamu Kamikokuryo. I clicked on his name just as we were getting ready
he
for
came to
this.
my wedding, so
Yeah, this guy was the art director.
He comes
for,
to your
like-
wedding and Schweiss is just like, oh, Osama.
Dude,
hey."
no. For the major Square Enix titles for that like 10-year span we were just talking about,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy 12, 12 Revenant Wings, 13, The Third Birthday, 13-2, Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 15. Those major games, he was the art director or art supervisor for all those games.
So he was like Nomura's underling.
It was like
basically.
the look of the games. Outside of, I think Nomura does character design a lot, but
Yeah, but like you can definitely tell.
he's got a look.
Yeah, Nomura has like a very distinct style that kind of permeates everything he works on. Like even when you watch like Advent Children and you see just the way the credits kind of roll in Advent Children, and they're like all these letters floating, and it looks like Kingdom Hearts, and it's like, this is so
yeah.
this is so Nomura it hurts. So the story of The Third Birthday is it takes place about 10 years after Parasite Eve II.
Takes place on Christmas and also other times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Christmas. Past, present, past.
They're
Are
tense.
you really gonna try to do a story outline right now?
I'm gonna do the best I can do here. So they really try to get that nostalgia going by showing you it's Christmas in New York, just like the first game, and then kind of all this shit goes crazy. The fucking there's just people getting thrown everywhere by these giant fucking twisted creatures.
Yeah. It's
that come
Christmas
out of
and
these things.
everyone's getting ripped to pieces.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal, honestly. At first, I'm like, well, maybe this won't be so bad. This is kind of a nutso like opening scene, and then like they have these fucking giant things coming out of the ground. It's like, from now on, we will refer to this as the Babel, and it's like, all right,
Why?
sure.
Like, there goes a point. Yeah.
So
I'm not calling it
basically, so basically, you don't find any of this out through like the majors, like the story in the game. You have to read the fucking data log, which is another thing that gets from a Toriyama game, which is 13.
Not doing
They have like
that.
a data log that you have to fucking read through to even understand the context of what's going on. Apparently, there's the CTI, the Counter Twisted Investigation Team, and the leader of that, Hyde Boar, who's totally not evil by that name and by the way he looks and sounds, finds Aya Brea outside of a church in New York in a bloody wedding dress.
Aya Brea.
Yeah, and
the time of the month again.
Yeah, the guy has like blonde, slicked back hair and glasses, and he sounds like this: "We must defeat the twisted. I'm not evil."
And I'm
Which is okay because there's
not
actually another
gay.
character. There's another character that's like even more evil than him, but like is only for one chapter. So basically, they find out that Aya has this ability called Overdrive, which lets her like transfer her psyche into other people. And they use this thing called an overdrive machine so that she can send her psyche back in time so she can take over someone else's body and like command other people's bodies in order to try and change the future. Not sure how that works, but it does, because there's a bunch of parts in this game where you go back in time and then you come back to the future and shit's changed. Until about halfway through the game, in which one of the major characters dies, and then another character sort of betrays the CTI, and like the whole place is murdered, and the overdrive machine is set on fire. And then we have Aya in like February of 2013, like a few months later, living with Maeda, who's the scientist from the first Parasite Eve game, and they're trying to have her overdive into people to try and end the twisted assault on New York once and for all.
Yeah, and that's in between mini games where he's trying to rip off your panties to then shove them down his throat as far as he can go.
Yeah. He unhinges his jaw like a snake. And,
yeah, he's got like a big old wad of Aya Brea, like fucking sweat drenched panties. Just
like literally, one of the lines he says, he's like, "It's okay to you're real. You have emotions. It's okay to cry. Oh, how sweet your tears must taste." And he's got like a bunch of lines like that.
So fucking gross.
And I said, if you're making me feel uncomfortable with this shit, because look, I
will defend most, if not all, sexual harassment, but this goes too far.
No, because like these Japanese games. These Japanese games always have this shit, and it's like, I am all for women being submissive sex objects. I am all for women being like mewling, scared little girls that go, but like it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in this game, and like it's really over the top in a way that like even I'm going like, what is this actually though? And I play Senran Kagura. I play like Honey Pop. Like I'm used to this shit. So this shouldn't be like weirding me out as much as it does, but I guess it's because I played through the first two games, so I know what Aya's character is kind of supposed to be like.
Do you
now
though?
the in-game justification for why Aya is so vastly different character-wise in this game is because she has amnesia. When Hydebor found her in the wedding dress outside the church, she had amnesia. She couldn't remember who she was, which that doesn't work because in the first game, she didn't know what the mitochondria shit was, and like her immediate response to an entire opera house getting set on fire is to whip out her gun and tackle the situation. Whereas in this game, she's like scared the whole fucking time and like crying in a really weird way. There is another justification as to why she acts so differently if we want to get into spoiler territory.
Yeah, spoil it.
With a giant twist that happens at the end of the game. So basically, they're trying to reach something called time zero, where there is no time, which is apparently where all this
that
shit
makes
started.
sense, right?
Yeah, that's
we've made sense.
That's
throughout
where
this
all of
entire
my
story overview.
That's where all of my time for playing this is gone, is into time zero.
How many times have you beaten this game, by the way? Because
Twice.
you beaten it a few times. Jesus Christ. And by
Twice
the way,
too
the game
many.
counts how many... your save file counts how many times you beat it.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're trying to reach this thing, time zero, which is kind of where all of this starts, and you don't know why. And eventually, you're able to get to time zero, and you find out that during the wedding between Aya and Kyle Madigan, who's like the love interest from Parasite Eve II, they get gunned down by some random SWAT team or like militia, which is also never explained. They just show up and shoot.
Yeah.
Something in this game wasn't explained.
No, but like literally, like
anything explained?
the impetus for this entire plot is this like SWAT team coming in and shooting them at the wedding, and they're never explained. It's never explained why they came to do that.
Yeah, it's like
Eve.
It's like if in Resident Evil 8, in the very beginning, when they gunned down your wife, they just never said why. The game just ends, and it's like, okay, I guess she's dead.
So. Or like in Resident Evil 1, if like Wesker never explained why he was evil. He's just like, I thought it'd be funny. So after that happens, there's another character that Joe probably won't know because she was from Parasite Eve II. Eve, who is a clone of Aya, that they sort of like adopted as Aya's like little sister.
I watched a YouTube video as a refresher on the series, and that did explain that.
Was it just a guy screaming?
I was going to say, you're probably really fucking confused when you're like, who the fuck is Kyle Madigan? Who the fuck is Eve? What is
Apparently Eve is from the book.
Well, no, because like...
It's like the character from the book or something. And Aya Brea is the character... So it's... Aya Brea was because Parasite Eve, the game, is like a spin-off from the book.
Yeah.
The book has its own story. And Eve, Parasite Eve is the main character.
I was under the assumption that the game is like a separate story, like a pseudo sequel to the book, because Maeda in the first game talks about an incident happening in Japan, which I'm assuming he's alluding to the plot of the novel.
Yeah, I think so. Fuck
like,
if I know, but I think so.
Right. But as far as I understood it, based on just the video game's lore, Eve in this game and Parasite Eve 2 is a clone of Aya that they made, basically to try and make like super soldiers or whatever. But Eve, afraid that Aya's going to die, that's when the overdive thing first happens, and she dives into Aya's body, which causes Aya's soul to be destroyed, which then we find out that because her soul is destroyed, the fragments of her destroyed soul become the Twisted. And also because she did that, it made all
You're
the
saying
other...
it, and I'm just going, okay,
I know.
I guess that's what happened.
And then because of that, like, it also caused all the people at the wedding who were, for some reason, also all the people in the CTI group. So, like, they knew each other before this, even though that was never once explained, to become a new race of things called High Ones, which is like they're twisted, but they're better.
They're twisted, but they're Rastas.
Yeah. So no, you're not playing as Aya Brea for this game. You're playing as Eve, technically, and it's not revealed until roughly the end of the game. Until for about 30 seconds, the real Aya actually comes back and saves Eve from the bad guy, Hyde Boar. And then Aya basically says to Eve, like, in order to set everything right, you basically have to kill me. And then like there's a cutscene that plays, and then the overlay for the game comes back up with a crosshair, and they actually make you pull the trigger to kill Aya Brea.
Oh yeah, you bet your ass I didn't wait 1 second. I was like, just fuck it, let's go. I'm at credits.
This is me killing the series.
Pretty much,
Let
yeah.
it die.
Yeah,
no, that story is really fucking stupid. It's really bad. Like I was getting real mad at the end, and I don't even care that much about Parasite Eve, like, to be honest, like the lore and shit.
Because for someone like you who doesn't care about Parasite Eve, it just doesn't make any sense. So that's enough to make you mad. And then for people who do care about Parasite Eve, or at least Aya Brea, it's like, oh, you're just literally murdering this character. Okay, cool, fine, why not? Yeah, let's go.
I mean, Eve is in all the games too. Like, Eve is the bad chick in...
No, I know, but like it's such a weird twist, because it's like, because the whole point of this game was like, yo, Aya Brea is back, we're bringing back Parasite Eve, and then you find out it wasn't even her, and now you gotta murder her. That character you all like. Sorry, like,
yeah.
Well, I don't. Yeah, it's the weirdest. I mean, it's the weirdest.
I got
fucking,
so
like,
much,
twist.
From that first Parasite Eve game. I gotta say the depth of character.
Yeah,
I remember getting from that game. I mean, how could I not be attached?
I mean,
I know you say that, but like
Daniel. Who could forget Daniel?
I know you say that, but like a lot of people do like Aya Brea. She is like a pretty cool female character in a time when female characters didn't happen.
Having done a Final Fantasy podcast for many years, a lot of people like a lot of dub shit.
Yeah. I mean,
like Sweet Amber, the song.
Yeah.
And
what kind of asshole likes that song?
And I'm not here to
how dumb
be a champion for them. Like, honestly, that game has a paper thin, ridiculous story, and this is just, I guess, not paper thin, but absolutely incomprehensible story as its third sequel.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened to Parasite Eve 2. I kind of don't give a fuck. I was disappointed by the first game. It's not a great Square Enix classic, and I don't know why it has the fucking legend status that it has. Outside of it was one of the games that came out during like their kind of golden period.
I mean, it's a good game that came out when they were making great games, I think, is really all it is.
I will say, having played through these games over the past month, more or less, so I could play the third birthday, I do enjoy Parasite Eve 1. I think it does
definitely
earn
the
that
best
classic
one.
Status. It's not as good as like FF7 or whatever, but like it's a solid Square Enix like mid-budget game from that era.
It's better than Legend of Mana.
I can understand why people like Parasite Eve 1, because I like Parasite Eve 1, and this is the first time, and I'm playing it for the first time in 2023. So by all accounts, I should fucking hate it, because it's kind of antiquated and old, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
I even like Parasite Eve 2, and you guys fucking hated that game, or at least you and Craig did. But this game's story just, like I said, it seems to be the perfect crossing of like Nomura's like weird vision mixed with like Toriyama's lack of understanding of how humans talk and how stories are made to be entertaining and fulfilling. It just seems like the perfect storm of all that shit coming together to make this like unbelievably baffling story.
I think Nojima was involved with this game too, wasn't he?
Oh, he's the worst. I'll give Nojima has the prize of being the absolute worst writer at Square Enix.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw his name in the game credits, and I was like, oh, no wonder.
And again, half the reason that, like, I read the data logs. I know kind of what happens.
Not on the Wikipedia page for the writers.
I know what happens more or less like in between the lines of this story, but like if you're not reading the data logs in this game, you're gonna be fucking confused as shit when it's like you beat the first chapter and then like this guy is back, like he's a lot, like they're all like Aya is surprised that he's alive, and it's like yeah, you wouldn't know he like died in the other timeline if you didn't read the data log, and then he turns out to be an evil bastard anyway. He's like, oh, you just do your dive thing. Like he sounds like me doing a deep voice. Like it's but yeah,
I do love watching like or listening to voice actors who are attempting a deeper voice than they have.
Yeah,
and I'm like, why did you even hire this person?
I think his name is like Hunter Owen, the boss in this game. He's only in like the second chapter, and he like tries to trick Aya into killing her. He does that a lot, where he's just like, just do your dive thing, I don't care. Where it's like, okay, you can't do that voice, dude. I don't know why they hired this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would never know that guy. Like the game acts like it's a big revelation when he comes back in like the second chapter, and you wouldn't know that unless you read the data logs and realized he died in the previous timeline.
Yeah.
Same thing with the blonde chick.
I mean, I knew that, but guess what? I forgot it until now. Because
well, there you go.
I hate this story in this thing. It's so stupid. It's not it's not that it's an affront to Parasite Eve 1 or 2. It's that it's just a gobbledygook pile of shit. It's just dumb.
It is an affront to Parasite Eve 1 and 2, but on top of that, like even if you don't know those games, it doesn't make any fucking sense anyway. The way it's executed and told is so fucking sloppy and like baffling in a way where it's like, why would you do it like this?
It's like a terrible time plot. Like you're you know, the game up to the point of the ending is different than what the future will be, what the game's timeline will be after the ending. It's like that. It's annoying, and like constantly jumping around. It's like if you took an Assassin's Creed game and you just put it in a mixing bowl and you just turn it on high for like a minute. And then whatever, and you just jump in whatever's in the front. Like, oh, okay, now we're in chapter 9. Okay, now we're back in chapter 1. Now we're in time 0, where the place where there is no time.
Like, I don't really like the time travel shit. I can get behind, and I don't even really mind necessarily that it's like her sending her psyche through time or whatever. It's like I play at Steins Gate. I can understand changing the past through like weird esoteric means in order to like change the future. But like. Even then, it's just the fact that like so much of the fucking data.
What's going on? I just heard someone knock.
No, don't worry about it.
It's just the fact that so much of the fucking like important data about this story and why you should care is all hidden in a data log anyway. That is completely optional and is in no way like. The player's in no way guided to go read that shit.
Man, who the fuck
I'm not
at Square Enix was like. Put everything that you need to know to understand the story in the data logs.
Toriyama, because 13 also does this.
Yeah, I guess he is like the common and like thread.
10 doesn't have a data log, but 10 also has this thing where it's like, we got to explain all this shit to you, otherwise you're not going to understand it. But at least they did it right in that game, where like they had Tidus being the fish out of water. So...
Yeah. That was useful. Parasite. I'm looking at the credits for Parasite Eve 1, 2, and 3. It's like the main people on each of these games are completely different people in each one. Like there's like each one was directed by someone different. Each one was produced by someone different. The artists were different. The writers were different. The composer even changed. Like Yoko Shimomura did 1 and 3, but she didn't do
Not
the
2.
second one.
Which is why I like the soundtrack to 1 and 3 and not 2. But
It's just crazy to me. It's like this series is not. Yeah, there's like no
I don't even-
continuation creatively.
I don't even think this third birthday game credits the original novel anyway. Like I think it's completely distanced
Well,
itself.
I think that's
'Cause,
why
like,
they had to name it that. There was something. To
Well,
do
yeah,
with-
but like I think they also kind of wanted it to be like a soft reboot where they're like, yeah, it's connected to the other games, but like this is like a new thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait till the 4th birthday.
nothing says
Yeah.
soft reboot like murder your main character in a senseless
This fucking-
plot.
This fucking story feels like it was written by someone who just got done with their third birthday. I am giving it a 1. It is bad, dude.
It's not only bad, but it makes no sense. Can I say
Yes.
it doesn't work?
I think it's bad because
Okay.
it doesn't make sense.
It is uncomfortable. Like the character choices are uncomfortable. The dialogue is horribly written and translated, and really not performed super well.
I know your hair, your back, your lips.
I even know
like-
Real line.
I
Real
even
line
know
from the
your
game.
fucking cheeks. I know the little starfish between your ass cheeks, Ayabrea. Yeah, it's bad. It's that bad.
I watched every cutscene and I was like, not even one thing I could hold on to.
Nope.
Like, like everybody complains about 15, but you could go through FF15 and you can like follow all the characters and you can
And they
just
have, like,
enjoy it for the
arcs.
character arc. Yeah.
The characters have like arcs, whereas
Yeah.
like in this game, it's like you have
Which,
the black
by the way,
guy. and
most
then
of
he,
these fucking Square Enix games, like that's the part they ignore. And so
Yeah.
it's like that for me. I'm like, okay, they did this thing super right.
But then you have like, oh, the
this
black
game
guy
was
is
nothing.
evil. The black guy's evil and he's a boss. And then you have like this heart-to-heart conversation with him, and it's like, why am I supposed to care about this guy again exactly?
This game was a fucking in the story department a fucking mess. I don't know if it's like so bad I can give it a 0. Like it was written in English in a way that I could.
It does technically
comprehend
have like rising
each
action
sentence.
and a conclusion.
There's a climax. It's interesting that you have to shoot the character. I thought that was an interesting choice.
That was like the one.
I'll give it
yeah.
a 3. I'll give it a 3 in story. It's pretty bad.
I'm going to give it a 2. The only thing that would have been more interesting is if the game made us shoot ourselves after we played it rather than shoot their character. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's just the writing is stupid and like just awful. Like the dialogue from these characters is atrocious. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Everyone's like trying to be cool and cryptic, but really they just come off as like morons in a story that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, like what does Hyde Boar say to like Aya? Like he's like, you don't need a past to have a future, and it's like, what does that mean? What does that even approach meaning?
Yeah. It doesn't have to make sense in the time between time.
I guess not, because it's like when I think of lines like that, I think of like you are who you choose to be. Like you are not a gun, and it's like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But then it's like, no, it's like what he learned from Kingdom Hearts is, oh, I just got to make the dialogue sound like it's supposed to be smart. And then complete fucking morons will give me a break on it.
Yeah.
And even with this game, I don't think anyone really was like buying it, where they're just
Yeah.
like, no, this dialogue's just trash. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally like praising Iron Giant here as we sit.
Come on. Iron Giant's a great movie. Come
No,
on.
it is. I like it. But like, it's this story is so.
I was
bad
also trying to think of
and
what the
boring
fuck does
we forget.
Mufasa say to Simba? I was trying to think of that, but
You
I
are
ended up
who you
doing Iron
choose to
Giant.
be.
Is that what he says to Simba?
I think so.
I don't remember. Whatever. Anyway, story gets a 1 from me, 3 from Joe, and a 2 from you. So on to the gameplay, which I think we're going to have very different scores here.
I had a good time. I don't think now I played this on easy because Schweiss told me that it was really hard, and I was like, fuck that, I'm gonna play this on easy. This was not an easy. This was still a game. I still got a couple game overs, and I had to restart a couple fights. Not like a ton of them, but a couple of them. The lock-on, luckily, kind of the stupid analog stick that the PSP has, it kind of like helps get rid of that situation. I had kind of a fun time leveling up my jeans in the little like
the bejeweled puzzle thing.
Yeah, the bejeweled puzzle thing, I guess. Like you get genes from like overdiving into people.
Oh.
And overdiving into enemies, and you get these
DNA,
genes, and then you can keep. Oh, sorry, DNA. Thank you. And you can keep on like trying to mix them until you get like combos that you like, and then you can just like keep on like leveling up your character that way. It does have the thing which you guys reminded me of that the first game has, with like the leveling up weapons. Like that's a big part of kind of the back end of the game. I mostly just stuck to like her standard fare weapons. I didn't try to buy a bunch of weapons. I just try to upgrade the shit I used a lot. Mostly the machine gun.
Yeah, I was mostly just rocking the assault rifle, and then like you can't get rid of the pistol for whatever reason. Yeah. So I had like the pistol, the assault rifle, and then like the grenade launcher for like really heavy damage shit.
So the assault rifle, I did one of my last upgrades for like the last chapter and a half of this game was to upgrade to one that like really built up the I don't want to call it like the overdrive bar.
It's like
whatever.
The stagger meter. It's like the thing from 13,
meter.
But it's like hidden.
Yeah. So the I had a gun that like built that up really fast, and that was kind of like one of the more fun aspects of it. And then the combat is really just locking on, spraying guys, and then jumping between characters in order to strategically fight whatever's on the floor in whatever you're in. And it is much like the other Tabata games on the PSP or PS Vita systems. I guess it's like you're the single room and you got a few guys to kill off, and then you go on to the next room through the next hallway thing.
Yeah.
But I thought this was kind of my favorite version of all those. I actually had a decent time with it. And I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself with the gameplay. I didn't hate it. I think if the gameplay was bad and the story was bad, I would have been like seething when I was talking about this game, but I wasn't. I was actually like not having it. Like there were times when I was like gonna sit down, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put in my hour of gameplay, and I went way past it. Like I thought I would have like 3 more days left in beating this game, and I was like, oh, beat it tonight, because I got caught up in it and I just enjoyed the gameplay.
I think I was like just starting Parasite Eve 2 when you said you beat it, and I'm like, fuck, now I gotta catch up. You just sent that picture of the credits to the group chat. I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
and like
now it's on.
A few hours before, I was like, I'm on this chapter.
Yeah. It's not a long game.
It's not a long game. It was like 8 hours something for me.
Yeah, something like that.
And so just as long as apparently Metroid, Super Metroid, the 25-hour game that I guess was only 8 hours, 40 minutes. But anyway, I actually, you know what? I had a good time, and fuck you. Okay, have fun, guys.
Well, what number are you giving it? It's going to be an 8, isn't it? There's nothing about the gameplay I didn't like. I enjoyed it. I don't think it was like I wasn't like so ecstatic to play this game. It's not like a Halo with a grappling hook for me. That I have been playing recently. It wasn't like that, but it was, as a single player experience on the PSP, it was a pretty good time. It was a pretty good time for me. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Good guess. By the way, Darth Stroyermon in the chat says that I missed the part where they explain why the fuck it's called the third birthday. No, because I don't know why it's called that. Schweiss doesn't know why. None of us know why it's called that. Seemingly only to get rid of the fuck. Seemingly only to. Actually, no, I guess there is a reason, because fucking Kyle Madigan says happy birthday to Eve at the end of the game. Yeah. I don't think she's 3 years old, though, because, like, even though she's a clone, there's been, like, a 10-year gap between, in like, the in-game time and real time.
You
between
could say
Parasite Eve 2 and this game.
When she took over Aya's body, she was reborn. And thus, this
Shut the
is
fuck up,
the
Schweiss.
third birthday.
Do not pull this stupid horse shit. Do not justify Square Enix calling something 358 days over 2. I won't have it. Anyway, gameplay. There were a few facets we missed out saying when Joe was talking about it. There's also a linkage and crossfire function where if you have enough guys behind like the chest high walls, you can target an enemy, and as your linkage meter builds up over the course of like 2 or 3 seconds, when it's full, if you hit the R button to shoot, she'll command everyone to fire on it at the same enemy at the same time. So you can use that to get a lot of damage. The only problem is like, I think the game is expecting you to overdive into a bunch of guys and get them in place behind barriers, which can be destroyed by enemy attacks, by the way. So you might just be SOL at a certain point. And there's also, you were talking about the DNA board, and the abilities you get from that can be pretty cool. The only difference is that's basically what's replaced the PE powers from the other 2 games, and you can't manually activate them. They activate by chance, very low chance, I should mention, given certain circumstances. Like, oh, when you overdive, you might get a defense up, or you might heal a little bit, but you can't manually heal in this game like you can in Parasite Eve 1 and 2, which I found
You can heal.
really fucking
You jump
annoying.
into the next guy.
So you can heal by jumping into another guy.
That's
yes.
like the game, though, is to jump around into dudes and like
Yes, but it's
make
also
the
like,
enemy chase you in a different way and like try to get closer to the targets. Like that is the game.
My point being, I'm sad that they got rid of the Parasite Eve powers from the first 2 games. I thought they were really cool. I thought that really helped RPGify what would normally be like a survival horror game, or in this case, a third-person shooter. And they're just not in the game in this one. It's your bog standard third-person shooter, and the gameplay is interesting at first, but after a while, it really becomes a slog. And maybe it's because I played on normal, but like some of these enemies are just so fucking spongy, and they have that like hidden stagger meter that you build up over time. That like when you finally get them staggered, you can press triangle to do the overdrive kill on them. But because the meter's hidden, you can never fucking tell when it's going to come up. But yeah, it just becomes a slog after a while, and more or less like even when they're trying to introduce new enemies that have different mechanics attached to them, like every fight just kind of feels the same. And the fights that do have different mechanics, like there's the boss fight in the second chapter with like the lady that turns into a giant bee or whatever, and then like it's telling you to fucking switch to a sniper because it turns into a big cluster of bees, and you have to use the sniper rifle to figure out which bee to shoot. But then like when they're all a bunch of bees, they also have like an orbital laser attack, and they kill the sniper, so then I have to wait for another sniper to spawn.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's just not explained very well.
That last mission was really bad for that too. It's like, oh, you want to be one of the ground guys? All right, you've got approximately 3 seconds to survive.
Yeah,
you better
or
hope
like that
to
fucking
God, another guy rolls up on the fucking rooftop. or
that
you're
boss
done.
fight against the Reaper you have in the last fucking mission, where it's like you have to jump into a guy that has that special weapon. It's the only thing that can damage the boss.
Yeah, the fucking like the
laser cannon?
The laser,
the
yeah.
space laser. Yeah,
I kind of was like, oh man, I enjoyed that part. Like it was like intense, and
I enjoyed that part when I had a guy with a laser on the field, and then when he died, I had to wait 2 more minutes.
I
for
found
another
Oh
guy.
yeah, there was another guy. That
I found
came
it
up with a
very
laser.
offensive
Same thing happened to me.
that every one of them had a Jewish name.
like Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein was the space laser guy. I'm like, man, this is offensive.
Yeah. Interesting ideas. Doesn't really seem super fleshed out. Like fleshed out enough to be considered great. I think I would give the gameplay on this a 6. It really starts to become a slog in the last few chapters when it's just like, here's another room of enemies, and here's another room of enemies, and here's another room of enemies. And
Yeah,
it's over
do
and
you
over
like
and
the
over.
spider guys that don't take any damage? Good. Here's 6
Oh,
of
I
them.
love the spider guys that kidnap you, and I love the mud
instant
flap
kill
guys
you?
that. I love the mud flap guys that fucking insta kill you and turn you into a twisted, so you have to jump to somebody else, and then after a while you like break them out of their shell, and then they start taking damage unless you shoot them in the mouth, which is where you had to shoot them before, which heals them now for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
Or those big fucking like elephant guys that like shoot like poison balls at you constantly, so there's like no chance for you to get another shot.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and they
those
like
fuckers.
hide inside their foreskin sometimes. I love that shit.
Yeah.
Great game design.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it.
It should also be mentioned that like enemies can kill you in like 2 or 3 hits in this, because the point is you're supposed to be jumping around to different characters. So like you can get really unlucky and just have an enemy get up and just fucking just gut you like immediately, which also sucks because they can gut the other soldiers when you're not in them. So you just might have no more guys
Yeah, but
left.
it's like pretty
because
forgiving about the
because they-
restart screens. Like you don't go that far back.
You don't go
Fuck
that
you.
far back, but I'd rather not go back.
In the last level, you go back, man. You go way
and you do.
back.
There's like 2 fights, and then it's because I remember the last level. It was like 6 sections.
Yeah, we
It
played
was
it
like
on normal.
a save,
so
2
there was
fights,
like
a save,
200
2
fights.
fights, save, 2 fights, and those fights are long.
They're
Yeah.
real long, and you have to
like
use
10 minutes long.
stupid weapons like the sniper rifle and the fucking, which is impossible to aim. If you aren't,
Or
you
like
have to get off the wall.
tanks.
You have to get off the wall, turn around, and look at them, and then scope in, and then you'll have a chance to hit. Because you got to you scope in, and you got to move it like a regular shooter, and that's the only way
It's
I can deal
manual
enough damage to kill. Was
Yeah,
that fucking sniper rifle?
The tank section was okay, but
It like mixes it up, adds a little bit of
A little bit of not
intensity right
fun
there.
with the fun.
I just suggest maybe this game is just a better game on easy mode. I feel like the balanced version of the game is easy mode.
sorry, Joe, but we're adults, so we played it on normal. We're like real games journalists here.
I'm sorry,
so
Joe, but I'm a cunt. So,
I'd rather be a cunt than play on easy. So
I'm just gonna fucking stop
know,
you
man.
right there.
I think this game broke my desire to play games on the harder difficulty. I really do. Because like I spent
it's not even the harder
much
difficulty;
time-
it's just the regular difficulty.
I spent so much time on this that when I went to God of War and was playing on Gimme Pain and I couldn't get past the first Draugr hole, and like after like an hour and a half, I was like, dude, I don't have time for this. Like I legitimately can't. I'm never gonna finish this game because I know this game's huge. I got all these other games I got to play, and so if I don't lower this difficulty, I'm just never gonna beat it. And so this game was a big catalyst for that in my life.
Another thing about the gameplay that I forgot to mention is the frankly out of place
Life-changing
mechanic.
game.
The frankly out of place mechanic where Aya loses more of her clothes the more damage she takes.
Oh yeah.
Which like, cool, it's hot, but like, why is this in here? And you do get other outfits for her besides like the 2 that you get through the entirety of like the first playthrough. And that's why I say it's the biggest fucking shame, because you beat the game and you get a maid costume, and I'm never gonna fucking see it because I'm never playing this game again. So it's like, cool, tease me with what I actually wanted, a maid outfit and a China dress, and I'm never gonna fucking see them in action because I'm never touching this game again. Thanks, guys.
Sadly, I did a new save file. Otherwise, I could have done the maid outfit, I guess, but I didn't. She was just in her normal.
Well, apparently it has dog shit defense anyway. The wiki says like the defense is so low that like it's basically just recommended for expert players anyway. So.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is.
I'm giving it a 7. I do think it's fun. I did remember it being fun back in the day. I don't know how, because I took forever this time to beat it. It was like 20 hours or some crazy fucking number.
I think the thing is,
Jesus.
you just didn't want to play it.
And the time before, I played it for like 30, and I'm like, how did I not like scream? Because I was playing it. It was probably because I was playing it at work on the clock.
Oh yeah,
My old dream job. So like it probably didn't bug me that I was doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again because I was getting paid to do it. But I was getting really, really angry with this game. Like I was getting.
this is the game you said you were like screaming in a pillow next to your wife or something.
No, that was NT or Dissidia. No, Dissidia. And no. That one. That I did that for that, but the first time I did it with true rage and hatred was Tactics Advance. That was like because it's a really long cutscene before the final fight, and sometimes when you start that out, they'll do a mega move that will wipe out 3/5 of your fucking party, immediately, and you're not winning if that happens. And it happened like 3 straight times, and it was like 3 a.m. and I had to review it the next morning. So I fucking grabbed my pillow and just like fucking screamed until I could saw stars like into my pillow. With the wife sleeping next to me, just fucking. I'm just in this private hell, inches away, just fucking like almost passing out with the rage.
I also forgot, like, this game does have a few good, like, mechanic ideas. Like, there's the one boss, like, it's like the boss of the first chapter, where, like, hitting it front on doesn't work. So you have to, like, get up on the rooftop and, like, snipe at it from above because it's got a thing on the back. But, like, even then, as you're running past him to get to the door, to get to the stairs, to go up top,
he just dunks
they're, like, yelling
on you.
at you. They're like yelling at you. They're like, don't do that. A frontal attack will never work. And it's like, but I see the thing. Whatever. Fuck. So, it just seems really, like, mishandled in certain areas where it's like there's potential here for really good like gameplay.
Yeah.
I think in the first mission too, there's like a sub mission where you can save a bunch of like specific people by going into them and then having them go back to like the safe room. But that's like the only time that ever happens.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. So you didn't even know.
Yeah, I did. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun little PSP game. The overdrive system is fun.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's cool because you can you gotta play your cards, right? So you gotta get them down. So some of the boss fights on normal, you would have to knock them down, do an overdrive, then you'd have to activate Aya's like freak out mode where she just goes ham on her handguns.
Yeah, the liberation.
Yeah. And then you get another one right after that. So, like, there's some cool stuff. It's annoying when you do liberation and then you just dodge the whole time because you're about to get hit and you just waste it. Also, the fight against the creeper, the weird guy, not the creeper, not the scientist, but the dude whose names just sounds ridiculous.
Hyde Boar.
Hyde Boar, yeah. The fight against him was like enraging to me.
Where you get the unlimited, not unlimited, but you get like a liberation meter that lasts like a minute and a half.
Yeah, but that part was fine. It was the part where he's like slithering around like some fucking
on the ice rink at Rockefeller Center. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, I was getting so pissed. And like that was another one where like there's a lot of dialogue because everyone's like, "You could do it, I am." Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, "Oh my god, shut up! Shut the fuck up!"
You're getting talked to by the black guy and the blonde chick who's totally not a lesbian, and also the South Korean twink on your team.
Yeah, and Kyle Madigan. Everyone's just fucking chatting me up, and I'm like, I gotta concentrate. But
because it's like Rockefeller Center, the ice rink, like frozen in time. So like there's all these other people around that you get, like when you hit target, it like targets them too. So it's like, oh great, okay, so I just kill this person. There's the guy I'm trying to shoot, and he's slithering around like he's in Kingdom Hearts or whatever. So
yeah, that one was a pain.
Yeah,
I do think the game is kind of fun though.
It's not a bad game. It's not bad gameplay. I just think it starts becoming a real slog towards the end. Like,
yeah, well, when you're spending an hour
and
and a half on one fucking fight because it's just
right, but
insane.
It's just like I don't think the mechanics are interesting enough or like used in enough interesting ways to like keep it interesting the whole time.
No, not for the 20 plus hours it took me. No, by the time I was done, I was like, I kind of hate this now. I'm like mad.
If this took me 20 hours, I would throw my PS TV out the fucking window. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah. And I was playing it like I was streaming it too. So the quality, it looked like fucking shit, dude. Because I was pulling it.
Oh, you were like playing it on PS Now?
No, I was pulling it on PlayStation. I was pulling the PlayStation Portable through a converter. A red, white, yellow to HDMI converter, and so it was already blowing the image up, and then it was like converting it into fucking HDMI, so it just looked like hell.
Do you not have a PlayStation TV? Because that's how I played it.
No, I don't have a PlayStation TV. I think I do, but I have never.
They were like
$20
at one point. That's why I bought it, because it's like, well, it's a Vita for my TV, and it's $20, so fuck it.
I've never hooked it up because I've never felt the need to ever have a Vita. There's been a couple times I've thought like, oh, that could be cool. And that's about as far as I get.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Fair.
It's kind of fun, but I do think it gets a little old. But it's a fun little like PSP game if you like, redoing the same thing over and over again. It's good. If it's
only 8 hours, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure it is. It's probably fresh and nice and clean. You know, not this dingy experience.
Graphics and design.
Did we all give it scores?
Yeah, 8.76 for gameplay.
Okay, interesting. Graphics and design.
We also gave it 3-2-1 for story. So this is really.
I like the look of this game. It's very of its time, and it's very Square Enix and all the people involved. It definitely looks like that. Cutscenes look really good.
This is like peak. It's the same thing as like Crisis Core, like Dissidia, where it's like peak Square Enix on the PSP, where like not in the same way as 12, but like all the characters look like they have Vaseline smeared on them. Kind of, it has like this sort of like blurry, glowy look to it.
12, it just looks like they have Vaseline in their eye sockets.
Yeah. No, but like visually very impressive for a PSP game. Pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about in the making of that they were pushing the system to the limits, basically.
I believe it.
I can see it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I like the look of the game. It's very blue hue kind of thing. That might be a Hajime Tabata signature. I
don't know, because like certain areas kind of have their own like color. What's that thing where you like look at a movie and you look at all the colors throughout the
color palette?
Yeah, well, no, but like there's like a term for it.
Colors of the
like
wind.
It goes through
a color swatch.
Sure, I don't know, but like, yeah, there's a lot of different colors used in this game, like for different areas. Like it wasn't just blue. There was a lot of oranges. There's a lot of purples and shit, like in the nightclub scene in the first mission. I just thought it was weird you picked out blue, but like I think there's pretty big variance of like different hues used.
Well, when I'm thinking about the game, I'm thinking blue, but yeah, I'm remembering like some like sickly looking areas, and then like areas that just look like, I don't know, just like a office building or whatever that they're going through. And it's a pretty deep red, so yeah, you're right. It's not all just blues, but it definitely has like a contrasty dark look to it.
I'll tell you what I don't like about this game visually. The designs of the Twisted are fucking awful, and they don't look like anything.
Yeah.
I don't like the way they look.
Yeah, I mean, I've had like fucking... I've had weeds grow near my house that resembled what used to be people better than these things do.
Like, and again, they're not really even going like the mitochondria route like they did in the first few games. So you're not getting like mutated rats or like the Omega camel or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is literally just a bunch of fucking like shapes mashed together to kind of look like a bigger shape.
Yeah. Do you
like literally one of the first enemies you run into is called a wad. So,
I mean, Joe, do you remember that fucking bush that was near my near the fucking train tracks by my house for like a year that looked like a dude? Like just sitting there like a dude, like dejectedly sitting on the curb of the road. It was the weirdest.
I don't remember
thing.
this at all.
It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
When we say
like
dejectedly, are we talking like?
Looks like sad Keanu.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. I got his head lowered. It was just like a fucking weird bush, and it looked like a dude. I would drive by and be like, man, that is so weird. Why is that thing there? It's like
the guy you hit.
Yeah, it's the.
I'm looking at the monster designs for Third Birthday. I don't hate them. I don't know if I feel the same way about you. I think like they're pretty like detailed in the graphics department for the monsters, and they're definitely like creepy. Like they get under your skin, kind of just like how they're designed. So no, I don't think I feel the same way about that. I think I like the look of this game a lot. Honestly, I can't think of anything that's wrong with it for a PSP title. Like, it's definitely a PSP title, but it's got a lot of detail, and it definitely has a good color palette. And
this system has a lot of power considering how old it is. If I'm going to be honest, like it looks pretty good. You know, like it's probably like almost as good as the Switch. Nintendo almost caught up. Caught up like what 15 days later.
It's somewhere between the PS2 and the PS3.
I think graphically this game is very impressive. I don't like the way the Twisted look. They literally just look like the Michael Bay Transformers, where they're like incomprehensible to the human eye. So I will give it an 8 because it is a very, very visually impressive PSP game, but that part of the art design with the Twisted just does not sit well with me.
I disagree. I'll give it a 10 for how it looks. I think it looks really good for a PSP game. That's the caveat there.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9. Just because, I don't know, it does look pretty good.
Because we got to have another numerically sequential score between 10 and 8
Yeah,
for all of them.
it's not the same this time though, because before it was descending order from Joe to you, and now
I'm looking at the wiki.
Oh, wait, never mind. It is. Oh, never mind. Yeah, just to keep up the theme of.
I'm looking at the wiki for all these fucking
3, 2, 1,
monsters,
go.
by the way, they are so like these don't look like anything. They're just shapes.
I mean, I get to shoot them with a gun, so good enough.
Right, but like they don't look like anything.
They're like twisted, bro.
Yeah, they're like.
Oh, yeah.
You had something.
That's
and then
also
you
another
twisted
thing. That's another Nomura thing that pisses me off all the time that he's been doing since Kingdom Hearts, where like he'll come up with like a group of enemies that all kind of have a similar visual motif, and they'll be the blank. Like you have the Heartless, the Nobodies, the Noise, the Twisted. So yeah,
Yeah.
it feels very of its time for a Nomura project that he didn't lead, but still, like he was part of it. I
Yeah.
think it was his idea.
I think it looks pretty good though. I mean, it shows off the power of the PSP. When I started it up, I was like, "Damn, this thing looks good." Even still, it looks good. So, very
Yeah,
impressive.
it could like almost be a PS2 game, honestly. Like, which is impressive for the PSP.
Yeah, I think it looks better than PS2. In some
Yeah, I
ways,
think it
at
does
least.
too.
Like, what is that? It's a bee. What is this? The fucking jellyfish? I'm tired of it.
We don't see the screen blown up to a TV size, so I feel like PS2 now you plug it into a
literally-
newer TV and it's like, oh,
Yeah. Well, no, I was playing it on the
it
TV
needs the
though.
scan lines.
I was playing it on the TV, and it looked fine. So
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah.
All right. So, sound and music. What do you guys think about the soundtrack, voice acting?
Voice acting is not terrible, but
The
it's
voice
not great.
acting is terrible.
The dialogue is terrible. I don't know if I would
the
blame
delivery the delivery is also terrible. Every time that
Okay.
fucking South Korean twink starts talking and he's like, Aya, you have to do the overdive or whatever the fuck. Like,
that. I don't remember it.
well, I could tell you from a week ago, the voice acting in this is not good.
I'll
The
just
music's
quietly
great.
watch a cutscene while you talk, and maybe I'll have my memory jogged. But I didn't remember. I remember rolling my eyes at dialogue, but I don't remember rolling my eyes at voice acting.
It's not great. The delivery's not fantastic. The music's good. And there's a lot of great remixes of Parasite Eve tracks in here from
Yeah,
PE1.
there are.
So I would honestly give the music a 5. The voice acting, I'd give maybe a 1 or a 2. So this is getting a 6 or 7 for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a. I'm gonna give it a 7. So now you have to give it a. You have to give it a 6.
No, I'll give it a 7
Okay,
because the music's really good. It's a really good soundtrack. But man,
The
this voice
music
acting-
is really good. It's also well mixed.
Yeah, it sounds good.
I will say it. Yeah,
I mean, the PSP is
sounds good coming out of the PSPs.
It's what I used as an iPod for
speakers.
a long time because I kept washing my iPods, so I stopped buying them. But you can't miss a PSP in your pants. So I would use. I still
Is that
have
a
like.
PSP in your pants? Or
Yeah. Or you
It's
just
like a
have
nut you can play outside.
Yeah, I still have like Metallica and Megadeth songs on my PSP from like forever ago.
Speaking of Metallica, no, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
You just have like the fucking way blown out versions of Death Magnetic on her fucking PSP.
it was before that album came out when I used.
Well,
this.
yeah, but
Yeah,
mean,
Saint Anger.
yeah, definitely had Saint. I think I do have some kind of monster on there actually,
Nice.
and probably unnamed.
The music is really good. The soundscape is really good. The dialogue is atrocious. I just listened to, I don't know, 20 seconds of a cutscene. Voice acting is pretty standard fare for like anime bullshit.
no,
Yeah.
it's worse. It's way worse.
I mean, but that is already a low bar.
Yes, and this is worse than that low bar.
I'll give it an 8. I think it's solid.
Damn it! Now I have to give it a 6, so we can keep the thing going.
No, don't do that. Don't
I'm not
fucking
gonna
do
do
that
it.
shit.
I'm not gonna do it. The music's really good. Like what I think it's like the second chapter, the battle theme, like whenever you're getting into an actual like skirmish during that part, is like a really cool remix of the battle theme from Parasite Eve 1. And I'm like, I did the thing from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where I was pointing at the TV.
That is not what happens in that scene.
No, but there's the meme where he's
That's
pointing.
the meme where
Yes.
he's pointing. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that was the joke. Anyway, I'm giving it a 7. I think the music's great. I think the voice acting is really bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd give the music 10 out of 10. I think the music was spectacular.
Yeah.
Well, final thoughts. I'm not going to play this game again. I did play it twice.
You're not going to do a replayability score?
Yeah, no replayability score.
Oh, no,
just the
yeah.
final thought score.
You're right. Yeah, final thoughts. It made me think about playing Conan. So that's good.
I'm not replaying this game again. It
Yeah,
was
no
like
way.
a solid arcade experience for me. I had a good time, but it was just an arcade experience from beginning to end. The story is nonsense. And I don't think there's enough to expand the game past the 8 hours I played to be interesting. Like, just upgrade my weapons more?
They have those like in-game achievements too for each chapter called feats that sometimes you unlock with
I didn't
free
even
stuff.
notice those.
Don't worry, no one
not
else did.
interested. Not interested. I
I
guess
there are like 12 different costumes you can unlock for Aya, but some of them are really hard to get. Like you have to do like some insanely hard bullshit.
yeah,
considering
and
it's
that's
this
all like
game.
that's superficial bullshit stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
not anything that's actually like fun to get. So I would go with like I know it has that stuff, so I'll give it a couple points for that. But
Yeah.
I'm never gonna replay this. I'll give it like a 3 on replayability. Like there are obviously there are reasons to replay it, and I did enjoy the gameplay aspect of this game personally, but I will never replay this game, and I don't really think there's a good pull to do that.
Yeah. I did replay it.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. I'll probably give it a 4, I guess, because I did replay
Good,
it.
because I'm giving it a 2 so we can keep the meme going.
Yeah, there you go. It's not worth replaying again. I don't have any interest
Nope.
in doing that.
Nope.
So
Even Aya Brea in a maid costume is not enough to get me to replay this game. So
yeah, for a second there, I was worried because the score on the right reflected a number that was far too high. But now I see the truth. Anyway, yeah, I don't think it's worth replaying. I don't care what kind of costume I get to see some flesh in.
I have our old scores for the first Parasite Eve, by the way.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we put it on the episode description this time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah, go ahead and do that, and we'll do the ones for this game.
I kind of want to contrast my numbers from last time. I think that'd be a little fun. So I gave story. What did I give story? A 3
yeah, you were harsh
for this
on
one. I gave story a 4 for the old one, for the Parasite Eve 1.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I gave gameplay a 6 for Parasite Eve 1. Gave art and graphics an 8. I gave sound and music a 10. And I gave replayability a 7. So, was not as harsh as you might think a 4.
Just on the story bit.
Yeah, the start, yeah, because it sucks. What do you want me to do? Like, oh, it's an old PS1 game. I mean, they didn't have any good stories in
I don't know.
Square
You could try
in
like
the PS1 era.
you could try suspending your disbelief just a little bit. I don't know.
I don't know. As soon as someone says something about mitochondria that like is literally common knowledge everywhere and everybody knows is not true. Like same with the recessive and same with the recessive gene thing in fucking Metal Gear Solid. It's like
Sounds like a pretty good.
the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard. And it's like, how did you base an entire plot line on this.
Sounds like a pretty good character motivation for Liquid Snake. He's mad he got all the recessive genes. I would be mad.
Yeah, I got all the recessive genes.
I got all, no, you have to do it in you have to do it in Cam Clark's voice. I got all the recessive genes, Snake.
Yeah, God, you'd have to be like, you just once heard recessive and dominant genes mentioned somewhere, and then you just rolled with it.
You thought you knew what it is.
It's just like how I heard mitochondria one time, and I was like,
oh, their mitochondria are kind of like organisms within a cell, and you just go like, oh, what if the organism had a secret master plan?
yeah, that sounds like the plot for a cool sci-fi adventure.
I don't know. It's kind of dumb as fuck, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's also paper thin on the characterization in that first game. I don't
know about
understand
that.
the attachment to it.
Look, it's not as bad as Legend of Dragoon, honestly, which is a game that everyone...
Is it as bad as the third birthday? What were our scores for the third birthday?
You should play Legend of Dragoon, Joe. That's like a beloved classic. And
I'm not playing a video game after we're done with this show.
the story and dialogue is worse than this game. Oh no, the dialogue's
There's no fucking way.
The dialogue's about as bad. The story is better. The dialogue is terrible. Anyway, not talking about that game today. Third birthday story: 3 from Joe, 2 from me, 1 from Afer. Gameplay: 8 from Joe, 7 from me, 6 from Afer. Sound of music: 8 from Joe, 7's from me and Afer. Graphics and design: 10 from Joe, 9 for me, 8 for A4.
Did I give gameplay a 7? I thought I gave it a 6.
No, you gave it a 7.
Okay, whatever.
No, gameplay you gave a 6. Sound of music you gave a 7.
Yeah.
Graphics and design: 10, 9, 8. Joe, me, A4. Replayability: 3 from Joe, 4 from myself, 2 from A4 Extreme, for a combined total of 32 out of 50 from Joe, 29 out of 50 from myself, and 24 out of 50 for A4, which is a combined...
I guess I gave it like a C+.
85 out of 150, which is a 56.666666666.
So it's a 56.
7.
Emphasis on the 666, yeah.
It's 56 out of 100.
Yeah. For a second, I saw it as like an
So
70 something, and I was like, "What is this going to outdo Parasite Eve?"
The fact that this has a higher score than Parasite Eve 2 is embarrassing, but
I really don't like that game.
I know you don't.
Schweiss, have you replayed Parasite Eve 2?
No, I haven't.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's why it's leagues above.
I don't think he'd like it any more than he did a couple years ago.
A4? You know what I think it is, A4? I think you see a game that you consider in your own mind, because all these games are old, but you consider like, oh, that's an old game. And so like you put a filter in your brain and you just like, okay, oh, charm. There's charm here because it's old. And like,
no, I played it and thought it was
doing, man.
I played it and I thought it was fine. There were parts that I was really frustrated by, but like I persevered.
Yeah. So let me give you games nearby this game. So 1 point below, which this is our first 56. So congratulations, Nude Clan. We got a 56 out of 100.
Nice.
55 was for
We're not ending the show until we have a game with every score.
Yeah.
Good luck. We got a lot of them. Most of them are full. We don't have. That Digimon World 3 got a 55. American McGee's Alice got a 51 because Craig's an asshole. 50 Cent Blood on the Sand has a 57, which that game is definitely a lot better than this game.
Yeah.
The soundtrack alone is twice as good as this game's soundtrack. Dude, it's like his first 3 albums. It's amazing. Yoko Shimomura is good, but come on, she's not 50 Cent.
She's no 50. She didn't make Into Club.
Yeah,
Could you imagine instead of Hyde Boar having that like deep "I'm not evil" voice, being like, "I am Brad.
Yeah,
come on, let's go. Let's go back in time."
Yeah, we're going back in time, Brad. We're gonna go kill 50 Cent.
Meanwhile, Aya's like, "Yo, let me hit that big ass ramp," and she's like driving a fucking Jeep.
Yeah. 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. It ages like wine in my mind. It's like it just gets better.
You just like clunky games, don't you? You just like clunky.
No, 50 Cent Blood on the Sand is amazing.
I think he likes clunky games that are very like macho.
Yeah, like 6 out of 10 games that are like testosterone ridden.
Yeah,
That explains Conan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. I'm excited to get into Conan. The problem is Conan is addicting. So it's like, what would you give crack out of 10?
Yeah.
And you'd be like,
That's
well,
the best part, because like
to
Conan,
be honest, it's like a 5, but I can't stop.
yeah. Like even my wife got into Conan for like a few months there. Where, like that's all she was playing was just Conan Exiles, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I married the right woman.
Yeah. No, now you got to get her back into it when we play.
I guess so, because right now she's addicted to fucking balloons, so I gotta find a way to break her out of that.
Balloons?
spell. Yeah, the monkey with the dart and the tower defense.
I don't know what that is.
It was an old Flash game, now it's a tower defense game.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into Conan. Always and forever.
So, the third birthday, better than Parasite Eve II, which it objectively isn't, but it's not as good as 50 Cent Blood on the
Whatever.
Sand.
You heard it here. And it's also not as good as Pacify, which is apparently
Wait,
1 point above 50 Cent, which I disagree with.
The combined score with UA4 was still in the 50s. I don't remember the exact number, but we said it on the show.
Yeah.
If you had combined with, so it was close to Parasite Eve 2.
Sure.
If we counted your fucking apologizing.
My personal
Bullshit.
ranking for these games, then how they play them all, Parasite Eve up top, Parasite Eve 2, and then like way down is
Look.
Parasite Eve 3.
Look, man, this is where I have it. I've played 2 mediocre games called Parasite Eve.
What if I'm
And
not even called Parasite Eve?
And, and I really don't understand the love for one or the hate for the other, because to me they're both kind of like fine.
Well, that's because you're a contrarian.
Oh, I'm the contrarian. Okay,
I knew that was going to set him off.
okay, all right.
He just wants
I don't
that
know.
6-octave rise out of you.
I think it's like people remember Parasite Eve being a much better game than it actually is.
Dude, I played it for the first time last month, and I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty great.
Yeah,
so.
and that was a month. Yeah, last month, and you've had memory loss since last month,
Yeah.
and so now you're here, and you're spewing
You don't know where
lies
you
about
are.
this one being way worse than the. I'll give you. Look, dude, the story in the first one is dog shit. It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid.
It makes more sense than this game's story does.
Yeah, it does.
It does
It
make
does.
more
Yeah.
sense than this game. But even for the PS1 era at that time, like the dog shit animation, I remember that. And like that's part of
Yeah.
the storytelling. It's like the cutscenes. Like it's bad.
Yeah.
I don't it's fine.
it's like
fine. At the end of the day, with all things put together, it's
The
fine.
animation and the FMVs in that game is slightly better than FF7, a little bit worse than FF8.
I think it had worse direction than FF7. I think they picked out their angles and their shots, probably because it cost $1 bazillion every time they did it. A lot better than in Parasite Eve, the first one.
Yeah.
Just from even though like the actual like character, I guess models were markedly okay.
yeah.
I've never had to go through the scoring system for the Final Fantasy games, the New Clan story system. I always wonder, like, how would they fare, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. And that's
Could
one
be a
of those
bonus
things-
episode if you ever wanted to do
Yeah.
it. You're not going to, but
Nah.
Yeah, all 52 games.
I
Yeah.
meant just the main series. But if you want to be a masochist, go for it.
Yeah, I like everybody. Oh, we're going to play all the Final Fantasies. Skip it 11. Skip it 14. Like, shut up, bitch.
Yeah.
You didn't play all of them.
Yeah.
You
guys
hear
are
that?
losers.
Final Fantasy Union, shut up, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, wouldn't want to use that language.
Yeah.
But,
Shut up, person who has birthing stuff. in their
Birthing
pussy.
capability.
Yeah, that one.
You're birthing capable. That's a good one.
And furthermore, the guy who wrote that one book. Anyway,
I don't even know.
we saw him at KuboCon.
Oh!
That was the joke I was making. That was it.
The guy letting his gut hang out.
Yeah.
on the floor at a public space. Yes, that man.
I don't remember his gut. I just remember that really hot
man-
black chick dressed as Cowboy Tifa.
I don't love people telling me how to behave when they don't know how to behave. Like, oh, these ethical things matter, but these ones don't. Like, come on, who are we kidding here?
Yeah, that was annoying.
Yeah, don't make fun of. You can't make fun of the fan community. Excuse me, while my gut hangs out for 500 people to walk past. Excuse me.
I didn't mean for this to turn to this. I just wanted to make a reference to something I thought you would find funny for a second.
I don't know. No, I do find it funny, and I'm half kidding.
Yeah, I mean, he found it funny too.
I think he thought it was funny based upon his response to it. So I appreciate the turnaround in that, man, in the sense of humor, seemingly from the comment that we got later.
Yeah, unfortunately, you tanked our fan fiction show, but that's another story.
Yeah, thanks, Gallagher.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think your fan fiction show tanked itself.
I think it did too.
I think we should put money into advertising it on adult fan fiction.
I think we need to burn it.
We're going to burn it after we finish it. We got like 3 wonderful fan fictions that have been submitted.
Yeah, what the fuck? Hey, people listening to this before FF16 comes out, you have a very good chance at winning a beefy fucking version of Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
I wanted to write a fan fiction for that, not to try and win the FF16 because I don't think that's fair, but just to tell you guys how I feel about you.
No, you should do it. You should do it anyway.
Yeah, we have 3.
We have 3. Guys, if one more person does it, they have a 25% chance.
Yeah.
And if they do it really well, it's higher.
You two will
Not
be
that
disappointed.
I haven't read a single one, but
I haven't either. I'm going to leave them be.
so I don't know what the quality levels are here.
I
but-
do love one that says, "This is blah. Don't you dare give out my name," relating to this email. So I'm looking forward to that one.
I should write it as Kanzen.
Yeah, we should get content. Oh man, we should like contact him and be like, "Hey, bro, do you want FF16?" We need you
Hey,
to
I
pull out all
read
the
this story
stops.
one time where you had Cloud piss inside Tifa's butt. Can you come on our show?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll come.
Or what is it like? He put his balls in her butt or something. And she,
Yeah,
like,
he
threw
did
up?
insert a testicle, but no, he pissed.
He pissed in her ass, and it went through her intestines, and she threw up.
Yeah.
Hot.
The most no, and in fact, just me saying that sentence, I felt my own stomach churn.
Yeah.
As if I had been pissed into through my butt
Well, I'll tell you what. The third
and was
birthday
about to taste it on the way out.
I'll tell you what. The third birthday felt like Toriyama and Nomura were double teaming me and pissing. One was pissing in my ass. One was pissing in my mouth.
Oh my God.
And their pisses were mixing in my stomach.
I don't know, man. Dude, my scores are really similar for both the games. I can't, like, I guess this one's like 2 points lower or whatever. I kind of stand by whatever I said back then. Like, it's the
You don't
dumbest
get
fucking
it?
story. The gameplay's okay. There's better Square games out there. There's games that look better out there. The soundtrack's great. I'm never like.
I'm sorry. Just Darth Stroyermon in the chat says the winner of the fan fiction thing should be decided when Joe throws up reading it.
Yeah.
There were a couple times during Super Sexy that I
I
got
remember.
close. Yeah, it was
I
bad.
remember.
God, I can't.
Well, you didn't like Yuffie drowning in a puddle of Red 13's cum on the bed in the haunted house themed hotel of the Gold Saucer.
I think what was most like bothersome about that show is like there were some that would like get into like underage shit. Like, and then like
I know that's why you guys stopped the Final Fantasy VI one.
Yeah, we've stopped. I want to say like two or maybe even more than that, but at least 2 times I think we stopped like we just stopped reading. We were like, hey, or at least I stopped it. I don't know which Schweiss would have done, but I was like, I'm done.
You don't know what Jake has done.
And then yeah, that was always like in like. I don't know. Listening to these fan fictions, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Uh-huh.
Like, is this one? You're writing a fanfic. Like, what is your headspace? Except for the people who are submitting to our contest, because that's to win something.
Yeah. You're not
When I write
mentally
my
ill.
When I write my fan fiction for the contest, I'm going to specifically age both of you down to be under 18. It's going to be great.
I think one of the most
It's
horrendous
less weird
things.
if it's me.
One of the most horrendous things I've ever heard on a podcast. It was like a writing podcast. They brought on like a guest to talk about fan fiction writing. And it was like, oh, it's such a great way for writers to learn. Like, it worked for one woman. And we all know who the fuck it was, okay? It's not a good way to learn how to write. Because you're not building the muscle of making up your own characters. That you're not doing that. You're making
you're working
up
on the
situations.
archetypes of like other shit that's already been made.
Yeah, and so like, okay, well, like that's part of writing is like making a character, and you're totally skipping that part, and making your own world, and you're skipping that part. It's like, what fucking good does this do? Plus, it's never good. I've not read a single fucking piece of fan fiction that was good. So I feel like people who write fan fiction 99.99999% are awful writers, and they just keep on not working on their writing and are wasting time making fanfiction. So if they're a person specifically, this is for people like writing fanfiction that want to become real writers, like published authors or anything like that. Someone's trying to call me. Anybody in that category, it's like you are wasting your goddamn effort right now. And it takes so much writing to get decent at writing. And it takes so much discipline to get and like time and stuff to get better at editing. It's why are you wasting it on fucking fan fiction? What the fuck are you doing? And the exploring of like just the that's so gross.
Just the nasty shit.
It's nasty.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if these people should be allowed to own guns. Like, I'm very concerned, just like looking around at the fucking conventions being like, which one of these sick fucks is going to be pissing into someone's asshole tonight that they roofied?
Yeah.
Now, Club didn't roofie.
That's underage.
That's not fair.
And double teaming it with a dog. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know.
A good time,
Anyway.
It sounds like.
Anyway, quite disturbed.
Yeah, can't wait to resurrect that show just to put it back in the ground once and for all.
It'll be nice to end it. Just to
Put away the old hatchet.
shing, just to put a shovel in the dirt over the grave. Just to
Jake jumps in
Shing.
front, tries to stop the bullet, but it's like a poo, and he just like fucking like he falls first, and you guys shoot it anyway.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I honestly, part of me does want to be like, hey, we should put up ads on that site just for the last little bit of us reading these, and then see how many downloads we can get.
How many clicks we get through the Google AdSense? That'll be nice.
Just like fucking
With that fucking picture of your face on the fucking Riku cosplayer.
yeah, that nice ass.
Oh, that was such a great piece of art. Fuck,
Yeah,
forgot about that.
That's a
Thanks
good
for
one.
reminding me.
yeah.
You're welcome. Now you have jerk off material for tonight.
Yeah, I can't wait to think about
Yeah.
Schweiss's face on a hot body.
Yeah.
I'm gonna isolate that for later use.
It's like I can get all of Schweiss I want, but also get the body I desire.
If I can ever get my damn soundboard working again, just so I have, I love picturing Schweiss's face on a hot body.
Yeah.
That's how I sound. What the fuck are we doing here? Like this game? Okay, I totally disagree with you, A4. I don't know if I've made myself clear.
You have. You're just
This
wrong.
game
It's
is
fine.
mediocre, and so is the first game. And I've never played the second game.
It's
Sounds
okay.
like
The
an
fans will
atrocious time.
ultimately side with me.
Anything with tank controls is a bad time. So I can't
The thing,
imagine. I can't imagine putting gameplay into above this just knowing it's tank controls.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got nothing else. I wouldn't
The
recommend
Parasite
playing it
Eve
for
series is a series in which we always fight whenever we discuss it.
Maybe that's the mark of a great series, is because all the responses to all these games is so vastly different.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
really brings out certain emotions in different people. You know what I mean?
It does.
Maybe the real Parasite Eve was the friends we made along the way.
And the enemies.
Yeah, they
lost.
wanted to bring in the fans of the series and the people who absolutely hated the series for this last entry.
Maybe the real Parasite Eve was the people we overdived into.
Yeah, along the way and had splatter. All those lovely.
I killed a lot of guys in this game by accident by just like overdiving into them and taking too many hits and just being like, "Well, see ya," and then just hearing them go, "Oh god!" Just watching their health bar go to 0.
What the fuck just happened?
Isn't that great?
Yeah,
You're just going through people like Agent Smith, man.
yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Another trans allegory. At least Parasite Eve II is according
You're
to Craig.
literally going from one type of person to another. It is a trans. It's not even an allegory. It's a trans movement.
Yeah.
It's a transition.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh man.
This whole series, it's trans allegory.
No, just I forgot about the discussion for number 2.
Yeah,
I wasn't adding to that. I'm sorry. No
that's fine.
comment.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
Join us next week when we either review Halo Infinite or more likely review the Prince of Persia movie.
Yeah, so Halo Infinite is technically next, but seems like Zach's put more time in Live Alive, but I don't know. But I'm really close to the end of Live Alive. And then Schweiss and I already beat Halo Infinite, so
Yeah,
and I'm like a fifth of the way through it right now. So
I'm so excited for God of War 2.
yeah.
Dude, I've been thinking about it because, like, Live Alive, let me tell you something. Games, everything needs to just be easy for me to do, or else it, like...
Oh, really?
Fuck you.
Revelations
but,
with Joe.
I mean, like, physically, like, if I know I'm going on a run later, I just wear my running stuff now. So I don't have to have, like, the choice or the time sink of just, like, changing my clothes. You know, like that transition period.
The minute and a half that takes.
Yeah, I know, but it's actually like this is how I like hack my life into like doing more shit. It's like that moment when I feel like being more productive or whatever, just like do that then and kind of like get ready for that moment when I'm going to be lazy.
Yeah, it's like when you start cleaning a room and someone wants to interrupt you and you're like, I can't. I'm in the zone. I'm not going to want to do this in 10 minutes. I gotta keep going.
I literally now I've made myself like OCD because I clean my apartment like every day.
Yeah.
And it takes like 10 minutes. But then like if anything's out of place at any other time of the day, I'm like, fuck, the dishes haven't been done. Like I get all panicky about like things not being clean.
Yeah.
I didn't clean this room for the podcast. This was cleaned, and I walked in. I don't know if you saw that, A4. I walked in, and it was clean.
Yeah, he turned on the camera, walked out, and then walked in. So
you claim it's
natural.
clean, but if you turn on a black light right now, I'm pretty sure we would find it's not.
You betcha. So I had a point and I was distracted by the fucking cleaning of the laziness. So like I know my laziness, so I have to play games games with myself in order to not like fuck up as much. And the problem is with Live Alive versus the PS5, because the PS5, the PlayStation controller is right there in front of the couch. Okay, it's ready and it's right next to the remote to turn the TV on, and half the time it turns the TV on by itself when I turn on the PS5. It's got the simp link. Then, but plugged into my TV.
Are you also laughing at simp link, or is it just me?
But plugged into my TV that is also simp linked, luckily, is my Nintendo Switch. And every time I have to play this game, I have to go. I first sit on the couch every time. And then I go, fuck, the controller is over there. And I not only have to get the controller, I have to make the controller every time. So I have to go, I have to stand up, I have to walk 10 feet to my television. I have to to kneel down, guys. This is really tough shit. I have to kneel down, and then I have to press some little tiny buttons on either side of the Switch in order to then gingerly take the mint leaf off of the sides of these Nintendo Switch things, and then I put them in the fake like plastic holder to make something that looks like a controller.
The dog controller.
Yeah, and then click, press both the buttons, and then walk back to the couch, and then hope that the TV with the Simp Link will work. Because otherwise, then I have to find the remote, which is 2 feet away from me at least, and then I have to turn on the TV and find the right input for the thing. So I feel like every time I'm with the Switch, it's like a pain in the ass. But the PS5 is just always ready for me.
Damn, dude, your life sounds
And that
hard.
makes me excited. Dude, that
Kids in
makes me
Africa
so
should be
excited.
sending you money.
Yeah, all of that would be
shit,
resolved
man.
if you just had a Pro Controller.
Dude, I thought about it because I'm like,
It's so hard, though. It's so hard. It's just,
I thought about it, actually.
and then.
I do kind of hate that process. I like with the PS5, dude, it's just always
I
plugged
gotta
in.
lean down to open my little drawer with all my controllers.
My PS5 controller is always plugged in on my coffee table.
Hold on.
And I just press the button and it's on.
Oh, did you hear that click? Oh, god damn.
Are you orgasming?
No, I want to go to sleep now. I'm tired. Putting this controller together.
Yeah. You gotta craft you gotta open up your crafting bar, get the materials, craft it, wait for the crafting time, and then it'll appear in your inventory. Unless you have an open slot on your wheel. And
And you know
gotta
what's the
select it
sad
from
part about
wheel.
me doing this is I have a Pro Controller right over there. I'm not even going to use this.
Oh, of course you're not going to use it. It doesn't work.
Does the that was a good one. So the Pro Controller is $80.
No, it's like 50 or 40.
Something like that, yeah.
That still sounds way too much. Like in my head, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Dave Mustaine.
because then I'm gonna I was seriously thinking it would be fun to have Mario Kart and like a couple controllers here. Like that would be a good time. But then
Yes,
I'm
it
like,
is.
that's a $150 investment if the controllers are $50 a pop.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that hurts.
Just use half a Joy-Con. It's not ideal, but you
Yeah,
can
I mean,
do it.
It's fine. It'll just, you just don't
I've
expect it
beaten
to
people
go.
with half a Joy-Con and Mario Kart
Don't
before.
don't expect
playing,
it to go where you
this
want
shit.
it to. But if
Oh, no, it
everyone's
works.
got that,
No,
then
I drift
I'm
up a
getting
fucking storm with these things, dude.
I'm getting a little bit of drift on that Live Alive just on the last couple chapters. I'm like, oh no, don't start it again. Because last time it did it was on, oh god, it was like Secret of Mana or something. It, like the guy would just fucking run off to the side of the screen. I'm like, stop!
Oh, man.
yeah.
And what's worse is you can't tell he's running off to the side of the screen because the camera doesn't move until you're like off the screen on Secret of Mana.
Oh, and that one, it would open up the little like I would open up the menu.
Oh yeah,
Open up the menu to get the magic, and it would be like.
Oh
Menu hell, yeah. That was that one. Holy
no!
shit.
Secret of Mana was our first COVID review.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one I did when I made it to my parents' place, and I was just like in my dad's shop, just pacing around on a Zoom mic, and then you on the phone. And that's how we recorded Secret of Mana, the review.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, good times. Shit.
COVID co-op, says Darth Stormon in the chat.
Yeah.
But I was actually thinking about that would be a fun game to play with the girlfriend. Something just fun for us to do together. And if any friends come over, I guess. But
Also, if you want a really simple Switch game to play with a girlfriend, it's called Snipper Clips. It was like a launch title. You play as these
Another
plays these two little.
trans
No, you play as these two little pieces of paper, but like one player can overlap the other player and then cut out whatever they're overlapping from that player, and you use that to solve puzzles. Like turn the one player into like a scoop to carry a basketball into a basketball net. It's cute. It's very cute. I would recommend it.
My girlfriend's got this thing where she can't remember the names of any piece of media, but remembers the piece of media. So it's like I had to go through basically like Nintendo's catalog to like see what game she had played.
Oh, you meant Animal Crossing. Okay.
Yeah, like Rayman, the bunnies. Like I just we had to go through a huge rigmarole where I found out, oh, you've actually played like a lot of shit with your brothers, but you can't remember a goddamn fucking name of these things.
And you don't know what any video games. You don't know what any video games are. So that's like
Joe
remembers the names, but nothing about them.
Dude, I got my description for Crash Bandicoot was fucking like a big fox that jumps. He's literally a bandicoot. Like,
yeah, but what the fuck is a bandicoot?
The name's it's a thing. It's a real animal.
I've never seen it.
I haven't either, but I know they exist because of Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's played Mario Kart, so I was like, that would be a good one because I love Mario Kart. I have a Switch. Why the fuck don't I have?
And Mario Kart 8
because
on
the
the
show
Switch
hasn't bought it for me. Hey, let's review Mario Kart.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, not only does the Switch Mario
and the
Kart...
Pro Controller. Let's review the Pro Controller, shall we?
Not only is Switch Mario Kart 8 probably still full price, but they also put out a fucking season pass that they're still putting out tracks for. So if you want even more tracks, you could pay another $25 to Nintendo.
Dude, Mario Kart 8 is fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, no, I would like I'm joking
10.
around. I'm like joking around, but like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch and like that expansion pack, you'll have tracks for days. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a fun little tirade.
The third birthday. Stay tuned.
Happy birthday to you.
You see that fucking picture I sent in the chat when I beat it? It's like happy third birthday to my favorite granddaughter.
Yeah.
I just searched like third birthday on the GIF thing on the chat. And
Yeah.
Here we go. Found one.
That's my favorite thing about looking anything up for this game. You have to put in Parasite Eve. So you may say it doesn't have Parasite Eve at the time. Heaven forbid you have to do a Google search for the third birthday. They're like, there's only one third birthday. It's that of a child that is made into the age of 3.
Like, I wish that were true.
What did Brandy say about you when I said you kept saying it was called Parasite Eve the third birthday? Hold on. I might not be able to find it in time, but he was just basically saying like, tell Joe he's a bitch.
Oh well, thanks. Tell Brandy he's a bitch. He could have been a host on the show.
No, but I'm funnier.
Offered him the position,
and then instead we got A4.
Yeah, we could have had a gay guy on here. You know how much more interesting we would be to the media.
Yeah, if we had a gay guy instead of a fake, instead of a fake Jew.
The listeners on the podcast version can't see this face that I'm making, but
I bet Kotaku would write articles about us and how inclusive we are. We had Zach too.
Instead of having us get bullied by the N-Gage community for having the gall to call their stupid little handheld a piece of shit.
Yeah. There you go, man. Whatever.
All right. Well. The kids are getting murdered again, so it's time for me to go. Thanks for hanging out for this review of The Third Birthday, guys. I'll see you next time. Live always in the nude.
Walk with your mitochondria held high.
Fuck Parasite Eve. It's fine. Yeah!
How about a nice game of chess?